see if I still got it.
All right, man, we're streaming.
All right, we are live for the first time. You know who it be is Ron Deasy. I got my buddy old pal here,
Mr. Awesome.
and we got our unofficial co-host, Mr. Docs Black. Welcome back.
Yeah, salute. Well, glad to be back. Glad to be back.
We are two nerds are better than one. We are back. We got some stuff to talk about. It's been a while, but we're going to jump right back in. First off, how are you doing, Mr. Awesome?
Oh man, doing good. Doing good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. My allergies are defeating me, but I'm good. I'm
That
good.
sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's. I feel like my next sneeze is gonna be my last sneeze. Like,
Oh, man.
this is gonna end me. That's how bad it is.
Are you one of those people that like when you sneeze, you gotta sneeze like 5 times?
No, it happened to me the first time last year. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was like, "Yo, this never happened."
I
It's
feel
like
so
one
bad for those
sneeze-
people, dude.
Yeah, it pisses me off too. Yeah, Docs Black, what's new with you? I know you always got something new. What's new?
Yeah, doing great, doing great. Happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me again. You know what I'm saying? It's always a pleasure. Yeah, just dropped a new album on the first of this year. It's actually my 12th album in a
Woo!
row, dropping on New Year's Day. It's this one behind me, Stoneface. The Stoneface EP.
Okay.
Boom. Like that product placement.
I was wondering what that was.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stoneface EP, produced by my boy Wax Bastard out in New York. 12
It's-
years in a row, man. 12
I was
years
about
in
to
a row.
say, usually you drop them like in the beginning of the year, right?
Yep.
Usually, but
January
this
3rd.
one,
January 3rd.
yeah. So I thought you dropped this one like recently, but this one
No,
was
no. So I dropped on New Year's, and it's 12 years running. I'm excited to keep it going. And who knows when I'm gonna stop? Who knows?
yeah.
You know.
That's cool.
But yeah, we try to make it happen, man. Stay consistent and give the people what they want.
Yes, sir. All right. So pivoting from the music, we're gonna go what we came here for.
All right.
To talk about some nerd stuff, some culture stuff, some movies,
Yeah.
Look like Disney is trying to make a comeback. They're correcting some stuff.
Mm.
Me and first before we get to like the main movie,
Yeah.
me and Mr. Awesome, we talked about Captain America last episode.
Got it.
Yeah.
We both liked it, right? I can't remember our scores.
It was better.
It was better, yeah.
Some of
It
the
was better
other
than what we
things.
expected, right?
Better than you expected. Okay.
Better than we expected.
I'll talk about that. Okay.
All right. So, Docs, what's your take on that?
Okay. So Captain
Buckle up.
America.
All right,
Okay,
here we go.
Captain-
We have to get pissed off. Let's do this.
Yep. There were things that I liked, things that I didn't like. Okay. So as a person who watches all the the connecting tissue, if you may, watching all the Disney Plus series, watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, watching obviously all the previous Hulk movies. I definitely think that there was some good things about the movie. So I guess let me start with the good things. Okay. The good things about the movie that I liked, obviously Harrison Ford, great actor. Can't knock Harrison Ford being in there. I was a little hesitant at first. Obviously, it's always hard switching a new actor into a role after they've been established for so long. Thunderbolt Ross, R.I.P. To that actor, and to have such a good actor take his place and do such a good job. Kudos to him. So, he was a good element of the movie, and very similar to like how I felt about Thor: Love and Thunder. Even though I felt it was mostly a cheesy movie, it did have good elements like Christian Bale, who very much carried the movie acting wise. He was the best element of that movie.
He was, man.
and-
He really tried to.
Yeah.
I gotta come in on this one. I will say the same.
Yeah.
I didn't like Love and Thunder that much either, but
Yeah, absolutely.
Christian Bale tried to do what he could with that role. He did.
Man, for all the slapsticky, lovey-dovey BS that they try to push in that movie, that very much brought me personally back into the film every time he was on screen. It was like, okay, now we're actually in a movie where people actually act, and this is like a art form. He brought that human element of acting to that movie. So with that being said, Harrison Ford kind of did that to Captain America. I did like the Isaiah Bradley arc. Watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, that was one of the most important and relevant topics of the Falcon and Winter Soldier series was the tie-in to the African Americans being tested on by the government, and being shunned, being the first Captain America, but not being talked about, being like tested on like the Tuskegee experiments kind of vibe. It was very touching in that regard to see him get some big screen airtime and kind of tie in that full circle element to that storyline. So I loved how like he started off kind of rough around the edges, then kind of went into a hero. Then, in the beginning of this movie, we didn't know if he was another Winter Soldier being mind controlled or whatever
Mm-hmm.
this was. And then obviously towards the end, he really redeemed himself, by the end of the film. So I really appreciated that arc and that they actually, gave that some focus. Um, Also, I did like the CGI of Hulk, but that was a double-edged sword because I felt like they didn't give him enough screen time. And I never, 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 never like when big budget movies like this um, cheap out on certain elements. Like for
Mm.
instance, in this regard, they cheaped out on him showing him change. So I hate when it's like you see the shadow and they're shrinking.
Oh yeah.
I
Off screen.
feel
Yeah.
like they went out cheap by doing that.
Well, they already wasted enough money on that movie, dude. That movie went through
Sure,
three
sure,
reshoots.
sure. But it's like, if you're going to spend money on certain things, don't go cheap. We've done it in the past in a couple Hulk movies, and then there have been some really great visual changing of Hulk. So it's like if you're going to do Red Hulk, at least do it justice. I did like how they kind of incorporated, the fire element. I feel like they could have leaned more into that. And that's a gripe. That's the start of one of the gripes that I have. And I'll touch on that in a second. Another good thing about the movie was the action scenes. I love the action scenes in this, especially like the one where they were by the Celestial. That was a really fun scene, and I feel like that was something that played into the movie was the action scenes. So that was pretty much all that I liked about the movie. Uh, Other than that, the writing was terrible. The acting was pretty much horrid. Besides, the Harrison Ford. I did like the Hawk replacement, the Mexican actor.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Falcon replacement. I liked him. Anthony Mackie. Um, I want him to do well, and I want to see him like act well, but for some reason it just didn't hit this movie. It was like, I don't know, in the action scenes, he was like kind of smiling, or like, I don't know if they wanted him to be kind of like cocky or something, but it didn't come off well. I didn't like the writing of him not having a superpower, but his superpower was like reasoning was his superpower, I guess. It was like, I don't know. It was a little cheesy.
Mm.
Um, yeah, another thing I didn't like, obviously was the fact that they kind of fell short of the Red Hulk execution. For us to wait the entire movie for it to just be that short little, fighting scene with him, I feel like they could have done more with that. So that I felt like was a miss there. Um, and yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. The little cameo from Bucky didn't really make sense. It was just kind of like a toss in. That was pretty much it. I give it probably like 6.5, 7 tops.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah. You're surprised at that one?
I thought it was gonna be lower. I thought it was gonna be
That was
lower.
gonna be lower.
I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be higher for Docs.
Really?
Really? Oh no! Wait till you hear Thunderbolts.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we agree with you. I didn't like the main villain, the leader. I thought
Oh,
The-
He
the-
looked
the
like
way-
so much
forgot about the
crap,
leader.
dude. He
I
looked like
yeah,
out
you
of a
totally forgot
zombie
about him.
movie,
That's how
dude.
bad it was.
He was terrible.
I blocked it from my memory until you started talking
Terrible.
about it, dude.
Oh my God, terrible! I completely blocked that out of my memory.
Yeah, it's
Leader was
not that hard
bad.
to make a big-headed brain person,
Terrible.
and
The
he look.
makeup artist was terrible.
Yeah,
His like getting see the thing about the leader, he was always the smartest guy like in history type of angle for him.
yeah,
And
and the
for him,
plan like was stupid. Like his plan in the movie was like that was it.
not very well thought through.
Yeah, like the years you've been playing, you're planning this. Yeah,
not very well executed. And the fact that they were like getting over on him and to show him like, like all yelling in the screen, like after they didn't follow through on his plan, it was just so bad. Not to mention the makeup was just vomit.
Yeah, he looked like something like you guys remember Toxic Avenger?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The 80s,
Yeah, from the 80s? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you
For
know
sure.
they're making a reboot, right? Because
Oh,
come out soon.
Effects were horrible.
They reboot everything.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So
But,
yeah,
you know,
I think we agree with you for the most part for
Captain America.
Captain America.
You should do a fun game for yourself and see how many movies coming out this year, next year that are all leveled, that are not number one, that are like all sequels.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I will say though, the one good takeaway, and even though it might have been a little cheaply done, a great takeaway was the introduction of animatium into the MCU. That was one of the biggest takeaways from that movie, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
You know, the new
I thought the fight.
Nah.
I thought the fight with Hulk and Falcon or Captain America was decent.
Yeah, it was decent.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Besides the fact that he was like at the end, he did it. So for me, it was the cheesiest part was the end, and he like talked him out of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was. I thought you were talking about the last blow that he got on him because I thought that was pretty smart. We were talking about that. I was like, all right, the end of the fight before he talked him down, I thought was like, okay, that's believable, and he still didn't really take him down, right? Which he shouldn't be able to.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm good with that.
And you know, for him being like the power of reasoning is his superpower, it was like, okay, buddy, this is like a real the sun's getting real low kind of conversation. And I was like,
yeah,
what are we doing? What the fuck is happening?
All right. So we kind of mentioned it probably like 2 minutes ago, but the Thunderbolts. So
all right, Thunderbolts. Let's get into it.
So Mr. Awesome, you saw it opening night or the night before?
Yeah, I saw it opening night. Yeah.
Okay. We'll let you go first, Mr. Awesome. What'd you think about it? Well, first off,
you want my rating? I'll give my rating.
No, I want to say when you heard the announcement of it, how did you feel about it?
Originally?
Originally, yeah.
Actually, I was pretty excited about it.
Right. Okay. Docs?
Yeah, excited. Especially because, you know, they're a little lesser known of like a team up, and you didn't really know who was going to be on the team. There was a lot of iterations in the comics of different forms of it, kind of like the Avengers, but you know, different collections of members. So I was definitely interested to see who they're going to bring in, who they're going to leave out. A lot of speculation surrounding that. You know, I definitely was looking forward to some characters that were not involved. You know, namely, I would like to seen Baron Zemo. You know, I would have liked to see even Red Hulk in that. You know, which they were in the comics. But yeah, initially I was very intrigued, and you know, they also had me intrigued with the asterisk.
Oh yeah. They're making like, okay, what's that? Because that's the first time.
I don't think it was there originally. I think when they first showed the Thunderbolts, like way back when, like on one of those comic shows or whatever.
Yeah, it was in the announcement. It was there. It was like the last thing that they did in like the Disney Expo and Comic Cons. Like they would show it, and then like right at the end, after everything, it was just like bing, it would just pop up. So it wasn't the original marketing, but a lot of speculation behind it.
Yeah.
Before we continue on, I just thought about something. So I missed like the first maybe 5-10 minutes of Thunderbolts. So in the opening credits, did it do the original like Marvel?
Absolutely.
Did it? Okay.
Tied in hella well to the storyline. Like,
okay, I noticed they didn't do that with Captain America. Did anybody else notice that?
No, I didn't. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. So that's like the first I noticed. It's like they did this other Marvel thing, like this whole static thing.
I will say though, the Marvel thing looked different. The way that they did it was a little different than the Thunderbolts. Yeah,
Thunderbolts. I feel like that was very well done.
But it's different, right? It definitely wasn't.
It was a little different. They added a little of Sentry into the. So the main difference is that not only did they have a couple more characters in the name, but they also incorporated towards the end of it Sentry, and then by the end of it, it turned all black and got super eerie and
And I think they did that too because it felt like more bright and colorful than it ever had
at
before
first.
too.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's why they did it so that they could go
It
like you
dulled it
really
out.
notice the dark.
You really
come.
notice, really set you,
Yeah.
and I really like that. And Marvel's been doing good with that. Like for instance, a great example is Black Panther 2 when they did like the tribute
Chadwick.
to Chadwick. Man, that had me in the feels. Not to mention I was on mushrooms watching that, so like it was like, man, at that time when that hit, I did not expect it. I was like, damn, this is what we're doing. We're really
Yeah.
into this right away with
Setting the tone.
Marvel.
Right.
Man. So when I saw that with Thunderbolts, it kind of had a very reminiscent, like, okay, this is what we're doing, kind of feel to it.
Okay. All right. So back to Thunderbolts. So Docs, you said you were happy about it. Yeah, I was happy too. I didn't know, like, I knew there was different variations of the Thunderbolts. The one I was first introduced to was, I think, at one point Norman Osborn had made his own
Was Captain
Thunderbolts.
America? Was Iron Man?
Iron Man, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Iron
think his suit
Patriot
was
or
called the
something like
Iron
that?
Patriot. Yeah.
Iron Patriot. Yeah.
So that's the one I was introduced to. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is gonna be a cool movie. But then when I saw like the character, I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be way different. Okay, it's the MCU version. But
Yeah.
all right, Mr. Awesome, what'd you think about the movie?
For me, I probably give it like a 6 out of 10. I will say that I went into it like really before I went into the movie. I heard some stuff that it was going to be like a lot of they were pushing the marketing like crazy. Like this is a movie about like bad feelings and self therapy and stuff like that. Like at the end, like if you see like a lot of the reviews and stuff, it's all talking about that. And I'm like, all right, well, still, there's probably gonna be some cool action scenes and stuff like that, right? I went into it with an open mind still. And the first thing you see is Yelena like talking about how there's something missing and all this, feeling sorry for herself like immediately. And then she does this cool dive off the building, and I'm like, all right. And then there's like a fight, and then there's like a quick quirk, the usual Marvel stuff. So I was like half and half right there already. Like I'm like, all right, okay. And I don't know, I liked a lot of the action stuff and some of the things that they were going for, like even like the self-help and stuff like that and things like that were working, but they went way 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 too far with it. Like they just kept going and going and going and talking about it. Like you'd have this really great scene and then this feel sorry for yourself moment, but it wasn't a moment, it was like 5 minutes of it or more, you know what I'm saying? And it kept happening through the movie. So like at some point I kind of got tired of it. But that's basically me in a nutshell, man. I went in, I enjoyed a lot of parts of the movie. Sentry was definitely the best part, by the way. That guy can act. He did both spectrums really well. The innocent little whatever guy, and then like the complete like menacing badass. He did both really well, in my opinion. And that's pretty much. I like their working together. I love their hero moment. Like when everyone saves someone. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like there's things coming down, and these guys are like outcasts, and they're not really heroes, but every one of them steps up to the plate and like saves someone from certain death, right? I thought that was a great hero moment. I think we need more of those. You know what I'm saying, in movies. But that's pretty much me on Thunderbolts, man. There's a lot of cool action stuff. Some of the comedy hits, and some of it doesn't. And the Sentry was probably the best part. That's me on Thunderbolts.
All right.
Nice.
Docs?
All right. So so essentially, I'll start with the good things, and then I'll go into some of the things that they missed on. First of all, I would give this movie about an 8.8 on my scale, on my measurements. Now, okay, so to circle back initially on the expectation of the movie and what we got from it. So initially, in a lot of the ads for the movie, I kind of got this feeling like I really hope that we didn't just watch the entire movie. Because sometimes in trailers, it's like, they give so much away, or they put all the action scenes in the trailer. So it's like, the only thing that we see new is like some of the plot, setups and yada yada, and they show all the action. So that was one thing that I was worried about this movie. And like obviously, there was that question of who was going to come in and what were they going to do story wise.
Right.
So when they started the movie with that tone, with that dark tone, with that even that Marvel introduction logo, it made us feel a certain way. And I think that that's one of the things about this movie that hit so well for me is that it had a real human element to it. And it wasn't just superhero movies about, a team up or people with superpowers. These guys essentially did not have any powers, right? And they came together for other reasons, right? Now, as far as the connecting tissue of why they came together, they were all rejects. They were all people that like were renowned at one point in their career, and it was like they were shunned for certain sides of them. Okay. And so they were all like rejects that came together basically because they did something wrong or they just weren't perfect. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so on that tone of people not being perfect, it's something that's relatable to everybody. And everybody has those moments of self doubt, of trauma. And I think that that was one of the connecting tissues that hit so well for me is that it wasn't so much like a pity party as it was each character having moments in their life that fucked them up. It was like complete, like if that happened to any person, you would be fucked up for like the rest of your life and shit, right? The only real difference is that these people are high profile in whatever they're doing. They're either high profile soldier, high profile, the new Captain America, high profiles, one thing or the other. So it's like they had these expectations on them, even though they were broken, like a lot of human and people are. Like we all have things in our past that make or break us, whether they're positive or negative. And I feel like they were able to provide a backstory for all these characters that we were introduced to prior. So
Mm-hmm.
going into it, obviously, yes, they did have a little more like emotion tied into the acting and to the plot, but also you had great actors. Florence Pugh is a great actor. She's phenomenal. So like she made the Black Widow movie, and the fact that like a lot of these characters came from movies that had good and bad elements to those movies by themselves, so that when they brought what they brought to this movie, they were able to kind of lean on that. Okay, so my example is Yelena in Black Widow was a great actress. She made that movie, and so when she brought that acting to this movie, that was her element. So even
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning, even though it did seem like a little like depressing almost, like the first scene, like, I'm lonely. What is my life? What is life? Kind of thing, right? And then it hops right into the action scene. But then, you have the U.S. agent who's a fake Captain America, who's an asshole, and he brings that. So every character brought their trauma and how they dealt with their trauma in their real life. So that's what I appreciated about that element of it. Now, when it comes to the action scenes, the action was very sorry, I put my plug my computer in for the the action scenes were very well done. Okay, and one of the things that really um, uh, got high numbers for me, one of the reasons for that was that the pace of it. I feel like they paced this movie very well. Anytime that there was kind of a dip in action or a dip in like the speed of it, or it's kind of a lull, it went right back up to an action scene. Like they kept doing that over and over. There was like dips. It was like,
Yeah,
okay, we're
I
getting a
agree.
little slow and then boom. It was like, oh, we're getting a little bit of slow and then boom, right into another action scene. A little bit slow and boom. So they kept doing that. So I like that pace about it. And then also, I liked how they came together. That concept that everybody.
Oh, all right. Sorry, everyone. We'll get this working again. Just give me a second. This is the one problem with doing Zoom is it cuts out after 45 minutes. So we'll call everybody again. Yeah. All right.
Let me send it right back to him.
Yeah, once he gets in, it'll fix everything. And again, we can cut this later.
Does it? affect our live?
Yeah.
Our live stream?
Mm-hmm.
Does it just cut off or?
No, it shows it. That's all. It's just showing it all messed up right now.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
All right.
It'll fix it once he gets back on now.
Let me look at it. We're in whoever's viewing this, we're doing an intermission right now. So give us a second. We'll be right back. Go to the bathroom. Come right back. Let's see. Oh, I see how it looks. That's funny.
Yeah, once he gets in, though, it'll fix everything because the cameras will switch.
In the meantime, you guys, anybody viewing this, subscribe. Hit our subscribe button. Hit that like button. Go follow Mr. Awesome. He does a lot of gaming. Mr. Awesome's neighborhood. What are you playing right now? Are you still playing? It's not Guilty Gear. What is it?
No, I'm playing this new game. It just came out. Yeah, it's called City of the Wolves. It's
okay.
It's the new Fatal Fury game. It's the
there we go, Fatal Fury.
There hasn't been a new Fatal Fury in like 20 years, so it's pretty cool, man. I'm really having fun with it actually.
Cool. Yep, I've been playing Monster Hunter Wilds.
Okay.
What else have I been playing?
There he is. Cool. It's all fixed. See?
Cool.
Fortunately, he's not there. He ran away or something.
All right, yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Oh, I see us. There we go.
All right. We'll pick up where we left off. You're saying the pacing was good?
Pacing was good. So after that, what I was saying is that, yeah, they did a good job.
Can I ask you a question, Balak, actually?
Yeah,
the pacing's good. All right.
Yeah.
What do you think about, like you talk about the first part, right? Where Yelena's, like, kind of having a pity party for herself, right? Then she jumps out the building and the fighting starts, right?
But honestly,
but here's the thing, like, you have this moment, right? But then immediately when she goes down, she's like, oh, maybe I'm just bored.
Exactly. So it wasn't a pity party.
So you enjoy those little, like, you can't let, I feel like sometimes you need to have some things, like, sit, you know, for a little bit and let people think on it. And instead they just go right to, no, that was funny. You know, like it's like the Marvel formula, dude. And I'm like, I want him to change it up a bit.
Yeah, there were some times where the comedy felt a little forced, and that's definitely one of the gripes that I had. But I do like the duality, and I think that was the point of the movie because the void is the duality of Sentry. So it's like what they're doing is showing, and not to mention Yelena connected with Sentry the most. So I think it was important for them to show her duality, you know, right off the bat to kind of tie in how and why she was so like connected to Sentry's, how he felt, you know what I mean? To his character, how he was split, you know, he's dual personalities, if you will. And, you know, for her, it's like, she kind of has the same thing. So in a sense, she might be the same, and they were kind of showing that. And obviously, that was why she said void in that beginning scene. She specifically says it's like there's a void or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was a little nail on the head.
Yeah, but people that know like the Sentry know exactly what that was about.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But also, with that being said, I do like how they were introduced. I felt that was natural. That didn't feel forced, like how all the characters were like hired to assassinate another person. That was kind of interesting. You know, it was very kind of like John Wick-esque. You know, it wasn't like, oh, we're all hired to do the same thing kind of team up. It was like they hated each other at first, which, you know, is kind of tropey. But the way that they did it, I felt like it was kind of natural. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so beyond that, you know, I'm kind of juxtaposed on how I feel about Sentry. Honestly, he wasn't one of my favorite characters.
Agreed.
The dude that acted, he was a cool actor, but I feel like the whole like innocent, we don't know who this guy is. He's kind of squirmish. He's kind of just like a nerd in the corner. That was corny as fuck to me, honestly. Like I liked how it was like, oh, he was an experiment that was like left uh somewhere while they were
That's so
getting
crazy because I feel like he played both roles really well though. Like
no,
he hit both the
yeah.
highs and the lows like really well to me.
Yeah. I do think that as an actor, he did a good job. The actor did a good job. I will.
He was
give
just
him,
written badly.
I think it was just written badly.
And I can agree with that because one of my takeaways too. I mean, I didn't want to go too far into it because I didn't want to be here for like 2 hours. But I mean, one of my definitely takeaways is I think the Sentry was just like he's cool, but I wanted more of him. I wanted to learn more about him. I wanted to be written better, all that stuff because there's so much more to Sentry than what they showed in this movie. And I mean, we all know that. I mean, right.
Well, so, I will say though that one of the highlights of the film for me, one of the top highlights, was that they didn't just bring in a villain to die. They didn't introduce a new villain to die. They utilized the guy as two people very well. It wasn't, it felt natural. The story felt natural. It didn't feel like, oh, there's this cosmic danger just like every other movie. It was like you were kind of rooting for him, but he was again, split emotionally and mentally. And it just kind of tied in their whole theme. I think one of the things that was well executed was not only the acting, but the overall theme was very. I mean, at times it might have seemed like they were hitting the head a little too hard on the nail, a little too hard on the head, but we all got the theme. We all got that it was like duality, mental health, emotional well-being, and living double lives, I guess, at some point, I guess is what they're going for. But there was some good moments, like the team up moments were well done. I did not like the final hug. Didn't like that when they were like,
that was so bad,
save each other.
It's so bad.
I did not like, I understand it. Like, sure, like everybody needs somebody, and I get the point. That was one of those moments that hit super hard on the head, and it was just I felt like that was too much. But overall, I did like how they kind of stepped together in a natural sense.
Doc, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, Doc.
It's not your fault. Yeah. What about you, Ron? What'd you think?
I liked it. You say you give it an 8.8?
I give it an 8.8. Absolutely.
I'll go a score lower than yours. Not because it's you, but I think I'll say like a 7.5.
Okay. I didn't even get into like the things that really worked for me, because that shit ties in like the post-credit scene. I think that they did that really well. And
I want to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So well, I think once Ron gives his opinion too, I think we can go more in depth in specific scenes that we like. I just wanted to give kind of a general.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely have more thoughts. But
I think like what you were saying, Docs, how when they're showing all the trailers and promotional stuff, you're like, dang, are they showing too much? Because I think immediately we all saw like, oh, looks like Taskmaster is not going to survive throughout the whole movie.
I think we all knew that.
Yeah, like, and we saw that. And I was like, oh man, like, and I think it's such unfortunate because Taskmaster is a great villain.
Did a terrible.
And when they introduced her at that, and I'm not a sexist, but originally it was a guy that they introduced her in Black Widow. And the way they did him, I keep on saying him, but in the MCU is a her.
It's a them. Taskmaster is a them.
Oh, really?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay, I'm about to say, like, are you politically correcting me? But yeah. So they failed on Taskmaster in Black Widow, and then same thing. I think she gave a good action scene.
The actor does well.
Yeah.
The writing again. They did not do Taskmaster justice for sure.
Yeah. They treated her very like a expendable. Like she was.
I love the way she was out of the movie. I love it.
Ghost
would have been my favorite part.
Yeah, I think Ghost. I was the one that I was rooting for the most. I don't know why. I don't know if because I like the actress. But I feel like they missed some parts on Ghost because when Sentry was touching touched John Walker. He touched
Right.
Yelena.
They didn't go into Ghost's backstory.
They didn't go to Ghost.
But with that being said, see, and this is another thing about about the movie that I think people should point out was the tie-in from all these characters' backstory, who they were in the MCU. Now, obviously, everybody was wondering who's going to be on this team, but I feel like people that they did select for this group were great selections based on their respective properties that they were in. So in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ghost, like basically we saw her backstory in that movie. You know what I mean? So it's like, do we want them to go into their backstory again, or is it like, are they, now because people may not know this person's backstory, do we redo the story? So it's
well, to that point too, I will say that I agree. I don't think you need backstories for everyone. That would have taken way too much time. And to be honest, by the time you saw the room for like the 5th character, you get kind of sick of it. But they did actually write scenes for every one of those characters. They're written, but they never use them. And to be honest, I am okay with that. I think if you actually had a room where everyone went through the same problem when they went into the darkness, that it would have taken way too long. And to be honest, you'd kind of get sick of it after like the 3rd one. You know what I mean? So I thought it was a good choice not to do that. But to your point, they actually did have it at least written to do it. They just had to kind of decide on who I think they wanted to show the most.
And it is a trope. It is kind of tropey because, like, we've seen a lot. We just saw it in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's what's her name was doing. Professor X's sister. She was doing the same thing. You know, like going to a person's worst trauma in their life and manipulating it. It's like, okay,
yeah. I just would have liked. I didn't care about Red Guardian because I think why I want to see it for Ghost, because Ghost is like the most, I guess, the oldest one out of the villains. Like, you saw her back in what, phase 3? Yeah, phase 3 probably. You saw Red Guardian, Yelena. You saw Lena in Black Widow and in Hawkeye. Red Guardian, you saw him in Black Widow. Same thing with Taskmaster.
You know why you're rooting for Ghost so much too? I'm telling you right now. You may not know why. I know why. Because they nerfed her like hard. Like she has. Oh no! Every time she tried to use her powers, this like thing showed up that like stopped her.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta know her. Like, dude, Ghost is like legit nasty, and like
you're probably right. You're probably right.
She can put her hand through your head, dude.
Yeah,
you're done.
Yeah. So that's one thing. I did like the fight scenes. I definitely like when they're all there. I think my favorite 2 are John Walker and Ghost. I think John Walker did a big step up from Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he did his thing, especially in that hallway scene when he fought all the soldiers.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I agree with you again.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. I agree with you again on the pacing. Just when you thought like, oh, okay, it's kind of getting. Oh wait, there we go. We go back up. You know, I like that. I do agree with you again on Sentry. He did not sell me on it. Maybe because I know from the comics who Sentry is. If I remember correctly, and they got time to do this, and if they will do this, I think Sentry is the one that calmed down World War Hulk. I think am I correct? Yeah. So he's the only one that was able to, and that's a great storyline. But that's another discussion, though.
Yeah, I mean, Hulk is so good. Think of like Sentry and how much Sentry has been able to operate without the Void, and the way that they put it in this movie, it's almost like now he has no place because they made it like he can't be one without the other. So it's like, in fact, they might have nerfed Sentry too. Like they made a good effort at it and what it would take. Did you guys play the Guardians of the Galaxy video game recently?
No.
No, they had the Sentry on that as their villain, and he was a Void in that as well. So like they almost like I feel like they tend to do that too in some of the Marvel games. They'll come out with these games that'll have people that they're about to introduce or characters that they're about to introduce. So it's like after seeing how they did in that game and then seeing them bring that to life, I feel like they could have done it better as far as the Sentry execution, but I think they did a good job. What they, how they did it this time around.
Right. What else? Oh, you know what I wasn't sold on? I think they just it was kind of little effort. The writing on this was at the end after they bring Bob back into the light. What's the girl's name? Who's like a man? Who's the one that put the Thunderbolts together? Kind of, or what's her name?
She was the worst part of
Valencia.
this movie, dude.
Julia
Valentina.
Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Oh my
Valentina.
She's like,
god, she was
she's like,
so.
oh yeah,
annoying.
hey guys, you're the Thunderbolts. Okay, we're the Thunderbolts now. We
Are you
we
really
own you. And
fucking-
then was it
As you
14
were
months
about
later?
to
I'm
like
like,
arrest her.
She's a good
Yeah.
actress too, but it's just
yeah.
no.
That part, I was like, yeah, that didn't. Nope, failed. I didn't like that part at all. Like everybody just forgot what she did, like 2 days ago. She just tried to assassinate all you guys, but
Yeah.
now you guys forgot your whole plan that you're going to
She
arrest her,
drove
especially
me nuts
Bucky.
in that movie.
Bucky being the one. Oh yeah, and that's the one other thing. I talked to Mr. Awesome about this. Maybe it's just me, but Bucky doesn't feel like Bucky from
No,
Civil War.
you're absolutely right.
I don't know if he's getting older face wise, and or
No,
maybe he's trying to make a whole change.
they're
But
mistreating him, dude.
it just
like,
doesn't.
They
He
don't
doesn't seem
write
the
him.
same.
Yeah.
I know he's not supposed to be the same, but there's just something missing about him that made him Bucky. Maybe because he's Bucky now and not Winter Soldier. But it's just something missing. I didn't like him in Falcon and Winter Soldier at all.
The only thing they did right for Bucky in this movie is the car scene when he took
the
out
motorcycle
all
scene?
those people and
Yeah.
the limo at the same
Oh,
time.
you mean the
That was the
Terminator?
only real Bucky scene right there.
Arnold
Definitely, because he
Schwarzenegger
did the whole
going
gun flip
into
thing.
the
Yep.
Yup.
whoop.
But that was Bucky and that was
Yeah.
Winter Soldier. That was both.
So-
That was the only thing that they've done right with him.
So if we're talking about like Bucky's arc, right? So if we're talking about how he went from murderous villain that wasn't aware of his actions to in Winter Soldier, right? To Civil War, where we found out that he killed Tony's dad, and he like had this big tie-in to all the things that had happened to the Avengers. So that's his big tie-in, right? But then he also by that time was starting to realize that what he did was kind of like bad, and he was starting to figure out who he was and how he didn't want to be Winter Soldier anymore. And then Civil War, and then obviously after Civil War happened, he loses his arm. The Wakandas take him in. He starts getting more compassionate, right? Obviously, you're around now. People that you were fighting against. You had fucking old boy at your, trying to kill you. T'Challa was trying to kill you and shit, and then they brought you in. So now he has more of a compassionate side to him. You know what I'm saying? He has his new arm. He's trying to redeem himself. And then, in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he really showed that like he wants to be a good guy, right? Showed that in Falcon Soldier, right? He wants to be a good guy. Now, whether or not he's polished enough to be a hero, he's probably not. He was rough around the edges, but at the end of the day, he still wants to do right at the end of that series, right? And then leading into the whole the political side of it in Captain and Captain America: Brave New World, it was just a little underdeveloped, right? So
Okay,
that side
that's
of
a
it,
good word.
I underdeveloped. So that side, that character of him, I felt like didn't do very well in Thunderbolts because it wasn't a really developed side. It's like, why is he all of a sudden a senator and shit? And like,
Yeah.
like he's trying to play nice and shit like that. And it was like he was always rough around the edges and fucking, kind of a dick or kind of just a anti-hero, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And so, by this time in Thunderbolts, we're already kind of confused. If you've watched everything up to this point, right? You're kind of confused to like, are you really trying to be this good guy? And obviously by the end, he goes back to Winter Soldier or a form of it. And it's like, it was just confusing. Watching him in there, I felt like they didn't really develop that character too much. They kind of just added him in almost like a cameo. Like how much of the movie was he even in? Like 20% of the movie or something, but he came in with the Terminator shit that was kind of cheesy to me. He came in and kind of gave him a pep talk and shit that was this and that, but I did like that he kind of brought a veteran aspect to the team. I like that. And the fact that like maybe him being involved in like the political aspect was giving him a little more edge in how to take out Valentina. Like, I would have hoped that somebody would kill Valentina because that character is trash. So like if he was going to do that, then then I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? If he was put there to kind of be that person to take out Valentina, then I feel like it was warranted for him to be like playing the background like they had him doing.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But I will also say that like, you know, the idea that when we're talking about duality in that aspect of not only the emotional side, this and that, I think they also did a good job with doing a duality with the Avengers. So the final, you know, kicker in that movie was that they're now named the New Avengers. Now, me, when I'm hearing that, it's like, okay, what about Captain America that just was told to make the Avengers and fucking, you know, everybody that was an Avenger, like all that kind of questions started popping up, right? I think they did a good job with that post scene addressing those exact thoughts that I was having. Like, what about everybody else and shit? And so when that post scene came about, I think they did a good job of like tying some of that in, you know, a little bit of fanfare and recognize.
It's so weird though, man. I mean, Sam Wilson is suing you for copyright. What? I for the Avengers? I don't understand that. It's just weird.
Yeah, they didn't go into it. I mean,
they didn't need to.
I think there's more to it. I think because you have Bucky and Sam, they're always like kind of not at each other's throats, but just always like, you know, I don't know, like a sibling rivalry kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like if in fact, you know, they were alluding to, because they didn't just say like, oh yeah, they're suing for copyright. Also, Bucky was like, yeah, when I talked to him, it didn't go well, kind of shit, which made me think like, you know, there's more to that. So maybe
they haven't thought of how to write yet.
Maybe that too. But if it's like, oh, they have such a history of being like close and them being at different ends, like, oh, you're the New Avengers and you're the real Avengers, like they had history and they're going to Avengers. You know, the Z Avengers, the Avon.
All right, so you were talking about the post-credit scene. So let's talk about the post-credit scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one?
Honestly,
you want to talk about the Red Guardian with the Wheaties?
That was like, I don't know what that was.
Hey, you know what? I like that actor too. I think Red Guardian was a good addition. And you know, before obviously we talk about, you know, the very end of it, I think it's worth noting the even though the comedy was spotty in this movie,
he's a double-edged sword for sure.
Sometimes
he hits.
There was some.
Sometimes he's horrible. I agree.
There were some hilarious parts of the movie for sure.
Yeah.
He has some good. He had some good emotional moments though in that movie. The part where he saves the girl, like that was big, and then she gets voided. That was a good moment.
Oh.
And then unfortunately, they took it away almost immediately.
They tied in a lot of fucking emotional human feelings, you know?
Right. And then his moment with Elena was pretty good. And then she ruined it. She's like, oh, that was pretty good. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
But they had a really good moment before that. So it's like, this is the problem with the movie. This is why like my review is basically like, action scenes were good, but then you get into this more like deep stuff, and they sort of hit it. But here's the thing. That's why I got to give it a 6, because you could have hit it, and I could have given this movie a 9. Why do I gotta settle for this shit? Give me a good movie.
You think it was potentially a 9? It could have been a 9.
It could have been. Yes.
You think so? Oh, wow.
Absolutely. If you did all these scenes correctly, yes. Yeah. So the problem with the scene was not the fights. The fights were great. The beats were pretty good. The emotional scenes when they came were pretty much where they needed to be. I will agree with that. They ran a little bit long, and I don't think they were written well at all. So that is the problem. If you could have had a better writer that wrote the scenes better, like even for just a small example, right? You see this part with Elena like over and over and over again with the girl, right? And she gets her killed, right? What if they just gave you little bits of it instead of the whole thing, right?
You talking about the snow scene?
Yes. Okay. Why do I have to see the whole thing over 6 times? Yeah, why don't you give me little beats of it, little hidden of it, and then slowly show more of it, right? Maybe that would have been better than showing the same thing over to me 6 times.
Well, maybe you should apply to be a writer.
No, I'm just saying though, like this is why I can't give this an 8.8 or a 7.8, man. I want to have something like I get that it's better. It's one of the better things they've done in a long time.
I mean, dude, if you compare, so if you gave, what did you give Captain America: Brave New World?
I think you gave it a 5.
Gave it a 5.
Whoa.
Gave it a 5.
Is that your lowest score ever?
No, I think my lowest was Secret Invasion. I think I gave it like a 3.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, sorry for swearing. I hate Secret Invasion, dude. That movie, that show is just made me so miserable.
In the list, that is at the very bottom. Yes. Yeah. But okay, so I guess that makes sense. If you rated that one 5, I think it makes sense that this one would be higher, because my point was that if you compare it, this movie has a lot more like acting towards the point versus just gratuitous build up for the action scene. Like this had more like dialogue that actually connected with audiences versus something that just seemed a little more forced or pointless. Like a lot of the shit that happened in Brave New World was a lot of dialogue, pointless dialogue. Like I mean, you
could tell too that movie was like put together and cut so many times. Like
it really reminded me of Secret Invasion in certain parts where they're like talking about what they're driving in a car, they're talking about what happened as opposed to like showing what happened or anything like that. Like that's the worst.
That's a problem with almost everything nowadays, and I wish they'd stop with that shit too. Exposition, dude. I don't need to know every little bit. Let me try to figure it out.
Sure.
Why you gotta tell me exactly what's going on?
You're riding in a car explaining this shit. I'm like, bro, come on, what are we doing here? How much budget did they have in this? You could put a GoPro in a car and just do this, bro. I'm not. Now, not to say that some movies it doesn't work, but with that being said, what I was really comparing was the fact that this movie did have a little more than like a Brave New World as far as their Marvel position in the hierarchy of the good movies, but ultimately, I feel like this is a strong effort towards something that
I will agree with that. I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think if you keep going this way, I think we'll be all right. The problem is, I'm not too optimistic about Fantastic Four right now.
Okay, and that's kind of what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So the secret ending.
Yeah, I think because immediately when I saw that, I wasn't excited, and I was like, why am I not excited? And I immediately went back to Avengers Infinity. What's it called? Infinity War. Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
So the post credit scene for that was exciting because you see Nick Fury fall away, and then he drops his pager, and then boom, Captain Marvel. You're like, oh shoot, we're getting Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't know if because we already knew Fantastic Four is coming like in the next month or two.
Sure.
Maybe that's why I think the secret ending fell short, but
maybe it's because the trailer sucked. Maybe
the trailer, we talked about that. We're not too thrilled about the thing. We're not. I'm not.
No, for sure. We can talk about.
You know what sucks too? Like as bad as his voice sounds, he looks so good. Like they put effort into making him look like the Thing. I'm really impressed with how
every time they release a new trailer, they do more rendering on him because
he looks fantastic. He does.
Although at one point, when I'm looking at it, I'm like really in the final rendering. I really hope that like they don't do his eyebrow all weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
but his eyebrows are weird in the comics.
In the comics, they have different, sizes to them or protrudes.
Dude, you know what, dude? It's the comics. We can make things look like the comics. We've already had this conversation about Brave New World. You can make the leader look like the comics. It's okay.
Please.
This is what we're doing now. Like we have the technology to do this. Why not make the Thing look like the Thing from the comics?
And there's always somebody that will come out afterwards, and make a fan version of him, and it looks way better.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I hate when
almost
they do
every
that.
time.
But
you're right.
Yeah, and you know what else about Fantastic Four? I'm not too thrilled about what's his name? Who's Mr. Fantastic? I can't remember his name. Dang.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about him being
so
Mr.
far.
Fantastic.
He sucks. Yeah, and you barely hear him speak. You know who's been speaking for him? His wife.
Yeah.
The whole time. You know what? The Silver Surfer shows up, which by the way, not a man, a girl.
Yeah.
Silver girl. Yeah. Silver Surf
I
her
was like
instead of Silver Surfer. Yeah, for like, dude, what, 10 issues? Get the fuck out of here.
But
Anyway,
hey, but it was you know,
whatever.
his
And
wife.
here's the thing, she's like,
if they find a way to tie that in.
What does she say? She says something in the trailer, and who answers? Not Reed Richards, the smartest man in the fucking world. No, his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about Pedro being in it. And I love Pedro too. He's done great in Mandalorian. He's done great in The Last of Us.
He's consistent. He is but he's the guy right now.
They should just got what's his name from
I'm sick of seeing him and everything.
Doctor Strange.
But, you know what's so funny too? I want to hate him, but like I watched that movie with him and Nicolas Cage. I loved him. I did. He's
what movie?
I don't know what it's called, but it's him and Nicolas Cage. And he's fucking great in it, man. I can't deny that the guy's got talent. I'm just so sick of him seeing it and everything. And I'm sorry, he's not Reed Richards, and he's not going to make it work. He's not. He's a bad.
No, I feel like we see, and this is the problem. Okay,
is it the mustache?
Nah, see, listen.
I think
it's him. I just don't think he could do. I don't think he could do Reed Richards just in general. Like I don't think he could do. I can't see his voice, no matter how he turned it, to sound like Reed Richards in my head. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so check this out. So the fact that this is the real,
which by the way, he hasn't spoke like anything in the trailers. He said like 3 words.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I think this is the real kicker for Fantastic Four. Is the fact that this is one of the longest running superhero franchises that they've done over and over and over. And
they've never done right. Well, that's not true. The Fox ones are
Silver Surfer was all right.
I thought the Fox ones were
they're all right. They're all right.
One with Michael B.
The last one, though, was horrible.
It was all right at best. No, the Silver Surfer, the Rise of the Silver Surfer, that was the second one. The second one. That was a decent Fantastic Four movie, but all the rest of them were trash, in my opinion. All of them were trash. So for this one, I do feel, and not to mention, every single Reed Richards was different. Everyone had a different approach. Everyone had a different voice and a different like look and feel to them. And so that kind of is fitting in my perspective for this being the 4th iteration, right? It's the 4th iteration of Fantastic Four. It's the 4th opportunity for them to do something different, and they're going to bring back the Council of Reeds. So I mean, they're going to bring in the Council of Reeds.
When you say 4th iteration, are you talking about the 4th movie, or are you talking about like are you also counting the Fantastic Four that never made it out, like the 1980 or 71 that never saw light? Are you talking about that one?
They put it out. I swear they put it out. It's the 4th.
All right, let's get off Reed Richards for a second. What do we think about Johnny Storm?
Well, I didn't like him either.
Okay, so this is my thing, right?
He looks like an ex-drug addict.
All those actors are good in their own shit. Like, you know, the dude the dude that's Johnny Storm was a dude from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
the other guy.
I agree. I think he's a great actor. I think
you know what I'm saying. And so I don't know if they're.
He's the one with the mullet, right? Okay, I was trying to figure out where he was from.
Yeah. And then the other dude, and it's funny too, because if we're talking about multiverse people and they're talking about bringing people in, the guy who's playing Thing was actually in Punisher, but I don't think they're even going to tie that in. But he's a good actor too. That dude's I believe in The Bear.
Yeah. No, he's a good actor too. I just they're also like making Johnny Storm way different. Like he's not supposed to be like, you know, trying to hit on every woman that he meets. Apparently he's like a really nice guy now or some crap like that.
We've seen it over and over and over. They have to do something different. It's the MCU version. They're going to find a way to tie in everything that they're doing with the multiverse right now.
So you think that changing the character's actual like personality is a good thing from the comics?
No, not necessarily like changing it from the comics. Obviously, they're going to.
That's what they're doing.
They're going to have different aspects of it. I think that
you can sugarcoat it all you want, dude. They are changing the character fundamentally.
Sure. Every time they've done it, I feel like they've changed it fundamentally. Yeah. So it's like this is going to be no different in that regard. That they're going to do something.
I feel like though, like his whole personality is going to be different, and that's what's going to suck. That's a part of Johnny Storm. It just is. He's he's Johnny a ladies' Storm? Man. Okay. Yeah.
We don't know yet. We don't know. Maybe.
No, we know. We've already heard all about it. We've already heard from the directors and the writers saying that Johnny Storm's going to be a little different this time. He's not going to be hitting on women, whatever. Then you don't care about the character and you don't deserve to write him. Yeah, this character is the way he is that's why he is the way he is,
Well,
and that's
sometimes
the way you get to use him.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I know
Exactly. Yeah.
who was it? One of you guys didn't like
Seven.
Ben Affleck's Batman,
Hated
and I
it.
actually,
But compared to Robert Pattinson's Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman wasn't that bad.
Whoa, you
Yeah.
didn't like Robert Pattinson's Batman?
Hated him.
remember he thought he was like too emotional or something like that.
No.
Docs, yeah, that's why Docs pisses me off. I'm like, everybody like it, but him.
Yeah, the Batman's really good. By the way, did you watch the Penguin docs?
Loved it. Loved it.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
Top show probably of our lifetimes.
You want to watch an awesome show, by the way? Me and my wife finally watched this on Netflix. Watch The Gentleman. That show's good.
Okay. There's been a lot of good shows lately, actually, but yeah, I guess that's another topic, but yeah, for sure.
Name them.
But yeah, so
I mean, Severance. There's been what else was good recently? We watched Mythic Quest, was pretty damn good.
That's old.
Yeah, no. I just caught up on all that. This show was pretty good.
Name good shows in like the last year.
I like the first season of Last of Us. This second season has been a little meh.
Have you played the game?
Did not play the game.
Okay.
In the season, the first one was pretty good.
Yeah.
What else?
We covered that.
Yeah.
So
no, man, come on. I want to hear. I'm telling you, they really haven't made that many good shows lately either. Like this is the problem.
We didn't even talk about this. Is one of the things. Great segue into Daredevil. Let's talk about.
Okay.
What did you think? Yeah, I want to hear about.
Okay,
Daredevil.
yeah, okay. I want to talk something about, relating to Daredevil. Okay, I think. So I know.
Docs, you're killing it right now, man. You're just segueing us like.
Me and Mr. Awesome, we keep up with like a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So we know that at one point it was supposed to be like 15 episodes. It was supposed to be a lot, right?
It was.
And they cut it down to like 9, I think.
I believe so. Yes, I think it's 9.
I was shocked. I thought there was more episodes coming out, but I was really surprised that.
I mean, it could be. Honestly, they made them longer. Like those episodes weren't like because I think initially those episodes were supposed to be shorter. So
yeah, I think that's
probably what they did.
I think it ended prematurely. Like I felt like it was there was more to it, but they're going to save it for next season.
They might have broke it up into 2 seasons.
Well, here's the problem with it is that they realized that it was crap. They knew it was crap.
You didn't like
Daredevil? They had another person rewrite it, but they had to use a lot of the old stuff and throw it in there, or they wouldn't have enough. That's why some of it is really good, and better anyway, and then some of it is crap, because some of it is the old stuff and some of it is the new stuff. Like that's fact.
A little tie-in. So yeah, what rating are we giving it? Let's just throw out some ratings out of 5. Out of 5, what would you guys give it?
Ooh, out of 5, I'll say this. I can't. Out of 5 is you threw a curveball.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this.
I can't fairly rate it.
Out of the original Daredevil.
No. So
yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you.
Mm-hmm.
The first and second season, I'll put in order. The first
season.
Hold on. Just the season.
Just Born Again. Just Born Again.
Don't compare the other one. Stand alone.
Okay.
Just the season.
Okay.
Out of 5.
Okay.
Out of 5.
Okay.
Just the season. Don't compare it to the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like 2.9.
Okay.
Okay. Can I say what I was gonna say though?
Wait, hang on. I gotta say this first. I can't fairly rate it because I didn't watch the last episode because I was honestly,
what?
I was checked out, dude.
What? The last episode was the only.
I know, but that doesn't change the fact that a lot of the episodes were shit. So if I'm gonna give it a rating right now, I'd probably give it a 2.5.
Okay. The last episode was the only relevant, necessary.
Well, I gotta watch 8 episodes to get something good.
Right. No, you're 100% right with that. No, honestly, I give it probably like a 2 out of 5.
There you go.
Because now we can talk about the other seasons, because
I think I know what Ron's gonna say too, because he probably did the same thing that I did. In
Daredevil
anticipation of seeing this,
an amazing series.
Exactly. I watched the original Daredevil before watching this, and I should not have done that.
Yeah.
So
3 was a great series.
I didn't like season 3 as much. So
I mean,
I think I'll say first season, second season, then Born Again, and then season 3.
Finally, but he finally
Get out of here.
I would. No.
Yeah, dude. What are you talking about?
That's just me. Maybe I have to watch season 3 again, but that's how I would.
Apparently, you do, dude. There's no way that Born Again is better than season 3 of Daredevil on Netflix. There's no.
Or way. Maybe just as good. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But
so the new season, right? Before we get into the new season, I think.
Oh, here we go. All right, kids. Ron's got to call me now. That's how it works. All right. Let's see if he gets back quicker this time.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you have the control room open in YouTube?
You mean to see what our stream looks like right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it. I shared it on my Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tagged him. But
It's all right. This honestly just makes it easier for editing too. That way we can just get the episode out. I actually think this is a good idea.
What, to stream it?
Yeah, because it saves us all time.
Yeah, we can stream it and then we can make the clips out of that, like the shorts.
Yeah, because you can download it later.
Yeah.
Do you have to call him back? Is that how it works?
No, I already sent him the link. Maybe he just has to. I don't know. I sent him the link already, but what was I about to say?
Can't you just send him a video call and he'll answer just like you did me?
You sent him a video call?
No, can't you? Can't you just send him a call like you did me? Because you basically called me, right?
Oh, he's right here.
On Zoom?
That's because I have you like my friend request.
Oh, he's not in there?
Box. Yeah,
you gotta
I
add
guess
him.
I should add him.
Yeah, you should add him.
Yeah. Allow. How do I put him in there? Go ahead, Docs.
Yeah. So yeah, where were we? So this season of
we were that season 1 of Born Again is better than season 3 of Daredevil on Netflix. That's where we're at.
What the fuck?
Ridiculous. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I honestly feel like they were definitely holding back. I feel like it was a buildup that was unnecessary considering it was just it took an entire season to get something good to happen. I did like obviously the incorporation of Punisher. It was good seeing them back together. Fuck with or mess with the actor who plays Punisher. He does a great job. That series was amazing. Season 1, 2, and 3 were amazing bodies of work. So to have this come on the heels of that, it was a lot to live up to, and they did not do a great job with that. And so I definitely feel like it was the action scenes were great. I like the choreography, always like the choreography. I just felt like every time that we were getting somewhere in that episode, it's like they had a pattern in that season.
It's because they kept using old stuff. They had to figure out a way to fit it in. I'm telling you, all the stuff that you didn't like was probably from the old stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, like I feel like they did a lot of tie-in, a lot of like forced remembering what happened before, reintroducing it to a new audience. But I feel like they had a pattern with each episode where it was like nothing happened till the end of the episode, and like the whole season ended up being nothing happened till the end of the season. So it was like it kept doing that. It was like building up something great, building up something building up nothing,
I didn't like how they lured you in too, like with nostalgia, like, oh yeah, these characters are back, which originally they weren't supposed to be in it anyway. And I'm sure that was a part of the reshoots that they decided to put Karen Page and Foggy in and all that stuff. Yeah. They probably weren't even going to show them.
I mean, I like that they got that brave and like took out Foggy, where in the comics he survived and it was actually Karen who died. So it was a couple of different things they did differently. But I like that they got Punisher on deck for anything that happens between them. And honestly, I really hope that they, bring really honestly, okay, so I'll just put it like this. One of the reasons why Daredevil is so relevant right now is because eventually he's going to be a part of Spider-Man's world, right? They already showed him in fucking Homecoming or Far From Home or whatever the newest Spider-Man was. He was in it for like a half a second, and that was cool bringing him in. That was showcasing like, we want to bring him in. We want to like, show him more. And
I
so
mean, it
I
makes
like
sense. They're both in New York.
yeah, I like the idea that now Spider-Man's like doing more grounded uh stuff potentially. Like he's back to his roots. The next time we see him, it's hopefully going to be with Daredevil and all these guys
I don't know
doing
about you
something.
guys, but I was originally introduced to the character Daredevil through the Fox Spider-Man show, the cartoon. That's the first
Yeah.
time I saw Daredevil. I don't know about you guys.
Comics and stuff, but
Ben Affleck.
Sorry.
I'm playing.
I really hope they do not bring him back because they're bringing a lot of people back for Secret Wars. Literally,
Yeah.
everybody is coming back for either Doomsday or Secret Wars, and
Mhm.
I really hope they do not bring him back. They're close. They brought Jennifer Gardner.
I mean, dude, they could do whatever they want at this point. I mean, come on, dude, they brought Blade back. He's like 80.
They're going to bring him back again. They're going to bring everybody back for Secret Wars for sure, guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't think any character is off the table for
especially Wars. Because this is it. Like they're going to reboot the multiverse now, and like people are going to get replaced. Basically, like they've done all.
Well, I mean, that's their only move at this point. So
yeah, no, that's what's happening, right? They're done with the multiverse. Secret Wars basically collapses all the multiverse into one battle world. Doctor Doom does that, and then the Fantastic Four reshapes the multiverse. Using Franklin Richards, and that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to put their own twist on it, but they're going to reset, and then the mutants are going to see. And this is the thing too, like they could do it kind of weird. Like, okay, they might do it with Wanda. Wanda might be the one who reshapes reality because we have such a history with her. Like Doctor Doom in the comics actually has Wanda under his control, and she doesn't know it. She has amnesia, and basically they're married, and then Doctor Doom uses her. Doctor Doom uses her for her power. So in this version of the MCU version, they could use her as a way to transition into the House of M, where that's the next saga is the mutant saga, right?
Yeah.
So from the multiverse saga to the mutant saga, and in House of M, Wanda is responsible for basically removing mutants from everybody's mind. She erases mutants from everybody's mind in the reality, but like she could just make it like, I don't know. They could find a way to tie her in instead of the Reed Richards where she reshapes Franklin Richards, where she's the one who reshapes reality, and maybe that's like how we get the mutant saga. So I don't know. They're definitely done with the multiverse after Secret Wars, and like I know a lot of people are over it. I enjoyed the multiverse. I like the fact that they tied a lot of old characters and like let them get their send off. It was dope seeing Blade. It was dope seeing like
huge. What's funny about the Blade? What you said about Thing? That Thing, the guy that plays that Thing in his new Fantastic Four played with who? I forget. Punisher.
Yeah. The guy whose Thing was in the Punisher series. He was the guy. He was his guy in the chair who was like, he couldn't go back to his family or something.
And the funny thing is that Ryan Reynolds played in the third Blade movie.
Right, and they talked about that. They were like, "Oh, I thought you hated me," or something.
Yeah,
they played on that.
But
yeah, I really rocked with the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I definitely think it was a little too cheesy for my taste in movies in general, but it was a fun ride, and I enjoyed seeing them being introduced to the MCU properly. And I look forward to seeing all these characters again. Especially because we all grew up with them, and it's like literally our send off for all these characters. Because it's like once they do Secret Wars and all this, they're done. They're done with these characters as we know it.
So speaking of the multiverse saga, what do you rank um Thunderbolts at?
I
So
think Thunderbolt best
to give you
movie since
guys
Guardians 3.
a rundown, we have Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Guardians, The Marvels, Deadpool, and Captain America. What do
Wait,
you rank?
wait, that's just a general list, or is that the act? That's
No, that's the list of the
That's the
multiverse
movies that have
saga.
came out after Endgame.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
oh,
me and I'm not sure if you were on this talk, but I know me and Austin talked about we talked about they should have ended the MCU after Endgame.
No,
never.
no, Docs was there. That's why it was
Docs
one of
was
our
there?
best.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that was one of our best talks. Because I remember we
Yeah.
were all talking like he was saying like, oh, finally Loki connects things, and I'm like, whatever, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
No, I remember that. And here's the thing:
show.
I was saying the same thing that I'm still saying now. They're throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Oh,
That's
sticks,
finally stopping. That's finally stopping a little bit. These are characters that are already established. Some people like them, some people don't, but they've been in the universe for a little while. People at least know who they are. I think some of them anyway. Maybe not Ghost because she was only an Ant-Man, but I think the rest of these characters people probably already know them. But I like I said again, I only gave it a 6 out of 10, and I told you why. But I think it's a good stepping stone, and I think if you can keep improving on what this is, we're good. So you want to know our rankings of Thunderbolts compared to the whole multiverse saga?
I'll make it easier for you guys. So out of the multiverse saga, do you guys put this in Thunderbolts? Do you put this in top 3? At least top 5, right?
I would put it in top 5.
Are we talking phases? We're talking overall.
We're talking about the multiverse
Only this
saga.
phase.
Multiverse saga.
Okay, so wait, which ones came out?
It's Black Widow. In order is Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Guardians, The Marvels, Deadpool, Wolverine, Captain America, and Thunderbolts.
You're forgetting about the TV shows.
I'm just talking about movies.
Yeah, just movies. Movies, it would be top 5.
Top 5? Top 3? No, you said
so.
You
I would
definitely
say top 3 in that list. My top 3 in that list, in no specific order, would be Guardians 3, would be Guardians 3.
Deadpool.
Yeah, I would say
Spider-Man. You got to put Spider-Man in there.
No, I would say I liked Multiverse of Madness. Unpopular opinion. I like that movie. And so I would put Guardians 3, Multiverse of Madness.
Really?
And I wouldn't put Deadpool top 3, but I'm like thinking like Black Panther 2 was really good, but there are some misses that I would definitely not put it in my top 3. Dang, that's hard. I would say Deadpool, I guess Wolverine.
So Guardians, Deadpool, and you said Doctor Strange?
Shang-Chi was a really good movie too.
Yeah, I think Shang-Chi gets slept on.
I think Shang-Chi might be one of the top.
I know a lot of people don't like that movie. I actually like Shang-Chi.
I really liked it. This was one of the only movies, probably besides Winter Soldier, where there was a lot of like hand-to-hand combat, and it's almost like Jackie Chan meets the MCU.
There's a lot of good kung fu. A lot of homage paid to good kung fu movies for sure.
Yeah. Mr. Awesome, what's your top 3 in the multiverse saga?
For top 3, I mean, definitely got to go No Way Home for sure. Is probably my number 1. Guardians 3. Guardians 3 probably number 2, and then I would go Deadpool, Wolverine. Those are the ones that I really enjoyed. If Shang-Chi's a part of it, I would say I probably like Shang-Chi more than Thunderbolts. So yeah, I'd probably go that order. So I'd still give Thunderbolts top 5.
There you go.
Okay.
Positive. Yeah, because you named how many movies did they come with in Multiverse Saga?
There's like more than 10. There's like probably like 13.
13. Yeah, I'd definitely put Thunderbolts top 5. And you know what? I definitely would put No Way Home top five too.
at
I'm trying to
13.
think like if I would compare Shang-Chi to No Way Home, like
And No Way
which
Home's number one for me. I mean,
yeah,
without a
No
doubt.
Way Home was good. No Way
So
Home was good.
is there any Marvel movies between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars? Because it doesn't show.
They haven't announced it. Now
Okay.
that's gonna be a fun one because what I think they're gonna do, and this is just, again, this is just theory time. I believe that what Doom's gonna do, his plan is like in the comics, he actually steals Galactus's power. So I think what he's going to do is steal Galactus's power, form Battle World, which is collapsing all the multiverses together. He's going to actually take Loki's spot on the tree of life, Yggdrasil, and he's going to
Mm.
become God King Doom. He's going to use Loki's power to create Battle World. He's going to create Battle World, and when we have the end of Doomsday creating Battle World, all the movies between Doomsday and Secret World are going to happen on Battle World.
That sounds great in theory. However, it sounds complicated to the normal viewer. Me and Austin were talking about that. That's how we feel about Loki season 2. Like it started to get real confusing with the variants, the whole different timelines, and you have to learn all these terms. You're like, whoa. For me, I was like, what is that word? What's that term? There's a variant. There's this. It splits up. It's like I didn't. I think you had explained to me what
Incursions
Loki
and
2.
yeah.
Yeah, inversions. Yeah, there we go.
Incursions,
You.
yeah, it all ties into the multiverse collapsing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think it loses people.
Sure, sure.
And I think Doc, you're the one that explained it to me. I was like, yeah, I didn't understand it. I didn't get what happened at the end of Loki. Did Loki
Yeah,
always have these
and
powers?
that's gonna tie into Secret Wars. That's gonna tie into everything. And by the end of it, watching
I mean,
all that,
Secret Wars is basically about the incursions because it's
that's
like
it.
different
That's all it
universes
is.
all fighting to
That's all it
be
is.
the
And Doom,
surviving universe.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And Doom is going to be behind everything as far as, getting on top of that. He's going to find a way to like collapse the universe to his advantage.
Do you
That's why
think? Do you guys think they're going to bring Kang back,
I do believe
or
that.
are they going to send him off?
No, I do think that he's going to be brought back because now that Disney has basically put their foot in their mouth by letting him go prematurely, I think they're going to bring him back in order to kill him off. I believe
Oh,
like
okay.
the first
Yeah,
scene
he
of
won't be the
Doomsday.
main. There's
Yeah,
no
no,
way
I
he'll be
think
the main
they'll
anymore.
probably bring him back in the first scene of Doomsday. They'll bring the Council of Kangs back, like they had in Ant-Man. They'll bring the entire Council of Kangs. Doom comes in and just like wipes everybody out, like first scene. Mark my words, it's gonna be something like that.
You think they'll do that because Marvel's notorious for nerfing their characters.
I
So,
mean, they don't have a choice. They basically canceled Kang, and they had this big setup that they already put in all these in all these movies and all these like opportunities to like follow up on these tie-ins that they love to do. They got a lot of loose ends. They have to tie it up. And now that he's like back in acting and back like, able to do it, they're gonna cut him a check. I wouldn't be surprised if they even bring Scarlett Johansson back.
I don't think she's gonna come back.
I think
They may,
yeah, because they're talking about that with Jeremy Reiner. Like he's kind of
Yeah, they offered
iffy
him
about
half
coming
the
back.
money to do the same
Yeah, half
stuff.
the money to do season 2. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Scarlett, then did she do like a lawsuit against them?
Yes.
yeah,
How
for
they
sure.
rolled it out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she had very much right in that lawsuit, and if I were her, I wouldn't come back either unless they offered the real bag. Like they
Yeah.
got a lot of money to spend for Doomsday and Secret Wars, so I wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, back to the variant thing, like they could just bring somebody else in, or just use her sister, like her. Oh, and you know what? The one point about Thunderbolts that I didn't get to talk about, and we actually kind of covered it, but I didn't get to make my point on was the duality between the Avengers and Thunderbolts in the movie pacing. So like even to that point where at the very end when they're like saving people in New York, they're literally right where the Avengers were when they were saving people in
Oh, I didn't think about that.
literally
Yeah.
parallel
Oh
to the
yeah.
two teams. I really appreciated that part of the movie that okay, here's a perfect another tie-in. The Avengers go down the elevator, that same elevator in the building. The new Avengers or Thunderbolts go up the elevator. We see them coming up. It's like the parallels are there, you know what I mean? And they did a good job of like tying it in. But what made me think about that was the fact that we basically have Scarlett Johansson in Yelena. We have a Black Widow already, so it made it back.
Yeah, because it's possible they might bring her back. There's been rumors that they're gonna bring her back, and also Chris Evans as like Captain Hydra or something like that. I don't know.
Well, it would be dope to see Captain Hydra fight Peggy Carter. That would be fire.
Oh yeah, did they mention is it America Chavez? Was she listed on the?
She'll probably be a part of the real Avengers.
There's a lot of people that they
that they didn't mention, but we know probably will make appearance. Yeah.
I mean, none of the Spider-Men are in Doomsday. Nobody. So they got some things up their sleeve for sure. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the next time we see Spider-Man, it's in another multiverse movie with like all the Spider-Man and like Daredevil and all those fools. Like, I wonder if they're going to eventually bring in like the Defenders and bring in all these other characters. I mean, we know that like an iteration of Iron Fist is going to be in Shang-Chi 2. But
is it the same guy or a different guy?
It's going to be so the Iron Fist was like an avatar. It was like different people were able to take on this persona, and they're going to bring. I think it's going to be like an old. It might be like a flashback or something.
Okay,
maybe, I don't know, but they're going to bring a version of it in. But I just wonder if like they're going to bring the Defenders back, Luke Cage, Daredevil. What do you guys think about those series? Those mini Netflix series.
I think Luke Cage, the first season was good. I couldn't get into the second season. I hated me and Mr. Austin talk about this. I did understand, or maybe I was talking to somebody else. I didn't understand Jessica Jones. I was like, there's been so many times where she could. I don't even see how she made it to 3 seasons. Oh. I was like, she's had so many opportunities to kill the main guy. She doesn't kill him, and it just keeps on going on, killing other people. And Iron Fist was horrible. I didn't even watch the second season.
Thank you.
Yeah. Punisher, I'm just recently started watching Punisher, the second season. I'm just watching it.
Daredevil and Punisher were the best series out of those.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt.
So basically for me in ranking, it would definitely go Daredevil, Punisher. Would I put Punisher over Daredevil? I would probably put Daredevil up there, Punisher under, and then Luke Cage, and then Jessica Jones, and then Iron Fist for sure. Because Iron Fist was trash. Jessica Jones was pretty good. It was a good watch. It was like it wasn't hella exciting, but it was it was a good watch. It was decent. And then what was it? Oh, Luke Cage. Love the music. Love the music.
I love the actor. I think he did good.
I like the guy who plays Luke Cage was a good actor.
Yeah, he's very good, very likable.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. Again, there was some supporting. I mean, Rosario Dawson. She was like, I don't know. I was getting tired.
She connected every universe in that thing, man.
Like, she was in all
show. She was like the one common thing.
Like, I know, but I'm just like, bro, I'm just like tired of her and her half-ass acting and shit. It's like, man, come on.
Ahsoka proved that.
But yeah, I mean, I really like the Punisher, and Daredevil was solid. So yeah, those are some good ones, and I hope to see them in the MCU, like everybody. I mean, even if I don't ever want to see the guy who played Iron Fist or that version of Iron Fist in the MCU ever, but
apparently he's asking for a second shot.
Who is
the guy that played as Iron Fist? He's like, give me another chance, guys. I promise I can do better.
Danny Rand.
I think he just took the role to the wrong way. I think he was getting in this mindset, and I can understand how, but at the same time, it just didn't work. But I feel like because he's so isolated from everything else, and he only knows one thing, and it's like his plane went down when he was really young, right? Basically, like a kid, right? I feel like he just has the mind of a child. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of acts like it, but at the same time, he's like a brat. But but that's not what people wanted out of the character at all, and I think he just took it too far, and that's why people didn't like it. But I think that's what he was going for with that character. But I don't think it works, and I would say Iron Fist is probably the worst out of all of them too. And then I would probably go get Jessica Jones next, and obviously in order I go Daredevil first for sure, and then It's tough between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage because I thought they were
Punisher.
both.
Punisher.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Punisher. No, I think Punisher.
Because Punisher
Luke Cage was better than Punisher, I think.
Luke Cage better than Punisher? I'm shocked.
What a hot take.
Clip that.
Well, we're going 2 seasons or just 1 season?
All together.
In general,
it has to be it has to be entirety.
It's tough, man. I don't know. They're close, I think, because I really liked Luke Cage. I don't know. I guess it's that one moment that I always think of in season 2 where they do the thing where they're together, him and Iron Fist, and like they're fighting people together, and he literally punches his fist, and shit just goes like everywhere and knocks everyone back.
Oh, was that in Defender?
That was in season 2 of Luke Cage, I think.
Oh, Iron Fist was in season 2. I didn't finish it, so
could have sworn
I don't know.
So, you didn't finish? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Definitely Daredevil first, though, without a doubt.
So, going into away from I guess staying in the multiverse saga. I think me and you, Mr. Austin, were talking about what are they doing with these series? Like, is it going to connect in any way? We know that Falcon and Winter Soldier connected.
All of them connect.
But what's going on with WandaVision? I know they come out with Vision Quest. When? Maybe it'll be between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Man, they got all these projects. Vision
Quest is him putting together the Young Avengers, which have already pretty much been assembled.
Wonder Man is supposed to be done.
Oh too. Yeah, huh? But we have Hawkeye. We got the girl from. Okay, we just talked about it. Moon Knight. What's going on with Moon Knight? And I love that character.
I don't think we're gonna see Moon Knight until Doomsday.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see any series with Moon Knight either.
She-Hulk. What is going on with She-Hulk?
Who cares?
She-Hulk will be in Secret Wars. I think one of the things that they will do is a World War Hulk in between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
The thing about that. Okay, so I've been keeping on that. I think we all know about like the struggle, right? I think who has it? Is it It's not Fox. And it's not Sony. What's the studio that has the rights to Hulk? I forget. Universal. So I'm not sure if there's a still ongoing battle between them, but that's why there's never. Yeah, that's why they can't make a solo Hulk movie.
Yeah,
because Universal still.
He's always got to be like a guest.
Yeah, it's almost like with Sony and Spider-Man. Like Sony still has the rights to Spider-Man, and they'll make. I guess they did a deal with Marvel was able to do those 3 movies.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But that's what the thing is going on with Hulk. Like they're saying he can't have a solo movie. Universal won't do it yet.
Yeah.
He can just be featured, which sucks because the Hulk, World War Hulk, Planet Hulk, those are all great. Even the animated cartoon they made was great.
Great storyline. Yeah. They already have, that's another character that they had so many iterations of. So many different people have played him. It's like it would be great to see all those versions come together, especially when it's like, it makes sense, like all these planets or universes, multiverses being collided, and now you have all these. That's what they're doing with the X-Men. It's like basically they're bringing them in because it's and I think with Doomsday, it's going to be secretly Avengers versus X-Men. They're going to be like a mashup of all these versions of those teams. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then we have. I mean, I really don't care about these 2 shows, Echo and Agatha All Along. I really don't care about those shows. Echo's done. We would not really. We don't talk about Echo. We don't talk about Secret Invasion.
And I gotta say, man, Ironheart. They've taken so long to bring that show out, man. I think they just.
I mean, they're coming. I mean, if Mephisto is going to be in Ironheart, it's like, hey, that might be worth watching.
Dude, why haven't they brought this show out, dude? I'm telling you, man, it's going to be bad.
And did they cancel Armored Wars?
They might have.
I know they kept on saying like it's gonna be a movie or no, we're gonna make a series, and then
I mean they put something out where basically they're focusing on quality over quantity, and even Bob Iger said that this is like the first example of that, which is Thunderbolts.
Yeah, they're not gonna put out as much stuff anymore.
Right, which I think is necessary. You need to like pay attention to your projects, review them.
Then I think they said we talked about this last time. They canceled Blade, right? They're just like, you know what? We're just
I've heard they pretty much.
Mahershala Ali will not accept the shitty scripts that they've given him.
The funny thing is that Mahershala Ali actually played the voice of Blade for an upcoming something. And so I wonder if this entire time people have just been speculating that it's an actual role, but it's actually just a voice role
Well,
because
maybe he. I mean, I know you've
he is
heard his
playing
voice. I'm
Billy.
pretty sure it was his voice in Eternals, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but I think that that's might be something that people are confusing it with, and maybe they'll just give him a special presentation like they did Werewolf by Night. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I heard they're going to do Silver Surfer special presentation at one point,
Mm.
but
Well, we'll see.
I mean, they I think with what Marvel with them scaling back, I think they were able to really effectively compartmentalize different parts of Marvel that kind of let audiences pick and choose what it is that they want to be interested in. So, like, you have your spy, um, uh, grounded political thrillers like your Falcon and Winter Soldier and your Civil Wars, and you know what I mean? Even Captain America, even with it starting like it did with, like you said, with the different Marvel intro, it like showed more of a like, it felt like clear and present danger or Manchurian Candidate or something. You know what I mean? Like it was like super political, and I feel like they've been able to do that. Like they have their horror leg of Marvel, and they have their space leg of Marvel. So I think that they've done a good job with that as far as separating their different worlds, and I think maybe that's why Thunderbolts felt a little more human because it was kind of more down to earth. It wasn't like you're battling in space or a multiverse
Yeah.
or the quantum realm or some shit. It was like you were literally watching these guys that had no superpowers. You know what I'm saying? Except for maybe John Walker, who was souped up a
And
little.
Red Guardian
Who
and
both
Bucky.
and Bucky,
Yeah.
which
Three of the same people.
yeah,
Um.
super soldiers.
So to get off, I think I think I'm done. I have nothing else for Marvel. I was gonna talk about what do you guys think about Superman? What do you think that's gonna do?
No thanks.
I don't know, man.
Do you not like the actor? Do you don't like the? I'll tell you what. I don't like the suits.
Yeah,
I do not like the suits. I'm not sold on it.
I don't know what to expect, honestly. Like
Yeah.
they've done that
Are
so
you
many.
gonna go see it?
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
probably,
gonna go see it.
I'll probably see it on Fire Stick. I'll probably wait till they release it on Fire Stick.
Did you watch Creature Commandos?
Nope.
No, it's actually a great show.
Okay. Okay.
I
I mean,
think you'll like it.
in all reality, like I loved Penguin. I loved what they did with that, and I really hope they get back to that or have a season 2 or something along those lines. But as far as DC
I know,
goes, like,
man. They probably didn't even think that was gonna do that well.
yeah,
They were
I'm
probably
stuck
so
on
shocked that it was like everyone loved it. They were probably so shocked. They were not prepared at
Do
all.
you not like DC, Docs?
not that I don't like DC, but I feel like a lot of it like has been too cheesy, too
Or the
kid.
cinema? You don't like the cinema movie
Yeah,
stuff.
the cinema, I feel like they always like miss the mark or they have it too cheesy or too childish for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
You
I
know what's so
really like,
funny that you say that you don't like
yeah,
DC or whatever too, like the movies. I totally get it because in terms of DC and Marvel, DC typically has better stories.
right.
Like, but
And
they
DC
can't
did it
seem,
first.
but they can't seem to tell these stories on the big
Yeah,
screen at all. Like
yeah,
Marvel was kicking their ass forever.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's only recently that Marvel's really gone down in the last like 5 years. Before that,
yeah,
I mean, it was no contest. Marvel over
yeah.
DC any day. But the fact that they could never do it is like always bothered me. Like there's never been like a ridiculously good like DC
I mean,
movie. I don't
The
think.
Dark Knight, the Dark Knight series were great. I really loved Christopher Nolan's approach. I really liked
Real
all
quick,
the
what I to me I which superhero trilogy do you think is better? Because I've actually had this conversation with my wife and a few other people. Do you think it's the Batman trilogy, or do you think it's the Captain America trilogy?
Mm.
which Captain America movies are we talking about? Winter
The trilogy.
the first
Yeah,
one,
Captain
and
America,
Civil
the
War,
actual like the first Avenger, then Captain America, Winter
Winter Soldier
Soldier,
and
and
Civil
then
War.
Civil War
War versus
But
Dark Knight.
versus
yeah,
the
trilogy.
Christopher Nolan ones. Yeah,
Okay. So I
Did
I
anybody ever see the original Captain America movies? The
I
first
was
two.
gonna say, I hated the first Captain America. hate it, despise. That's probably one of
First
my
Avenger, yeah, we talked about that. That was
one of
horrible.
my lowest on my list.
So yeah, I forgot about that. You guys didn't. Yeah, so it's obviously going to be Batman for you then.
Well, I mean, with that being said, like, as much as I loved the Bane one, I'm like, was it better than the first one? I really liked Ra's al Ghul. I really liked the introduction and the way that they did Batman's approach, like his ninja training. And I love the second one, even though, admittedly, I fell asleep in the theater to Dark Knight twice.
Wow.
Twice.
Twice.
Were you off of work or what's going on? Or
it was just the pacing. It was just a little.
It's a long movie, right?
It's a long movie.
It's a pretty long movie.
But I think it runs really well. I think it's pacing is actually really well.
Now obviously it's classic and it's like, one of those movies that obviously what's gonna happen. But yeah, definitely. But with that being said, shit, if I had to choose, gun to my head, Christopher Nolan or dang, I'm gonna have to go with the Dark Knight.
Okay.
You know what's interesting? That's a very good question. I think we talked about this before, but even though first Avenger was a horrible movie,
it's not a horrible movie, DZ.
Terrible movie.
The Winter Soldier makes up for it, and then Civil War like keeps it up.
Absolutely.
So it almost carries the last two movies of Captain America kind of carries it, but I think Batman just was consistent. Except the third one. I think Dark Knight was better.
Dark Knight Rises is not that good of a movie.
Or yeah, Dark Knight Rises. Yeah,
not that great. But Bane did a good job. They did a good portrayal.
No,
see, I knew you guys were going to pick Batman.
I
was just curious. I'm going Captain America.
I think
all the way,
if they named Bane somebody else, it still would have been good. But that wasn't a good Bane. That wasn't a good Bane. It could have been a different. Not saying that it was a bad character, but I think it was a bad representation of Bane. It didn't seem like Bane to me because Bane. I mean, I don't know the whole arc of it, but he's used. I think nowadays he's Hispanic, right? He's like a luchador or something like that. That's hyped up on drugs.
Yeah, it has
this guy was
definitely has some sort of accent on him for sure.
Yeah, but this version, Tom Hardy's version was like nothing like from the comics or the cartoons. So I was like, okay, it could have been. It's still a great character. The only thing that was related was the mask, which it doesn't even match any of Bane's mask. But the only thing that was related to Bane was that he broke Batman's back. That's like the only relation you see from the comparison. Yeah. Not saying that the character was bad. Again, I just think it could have been somebody else.
Yeah.
But
hey, that's what you get when you have all these people that have different ideas and different takes on the character. I mean, some are going to nail it and some aren't. I mean, shoot. Tying back into like, the beginning of our conversation, we were talking about like Thunderbolts and how Century was just, riding the line of a good character and not, for us, it's like when we're looking at it as a viewer, it's like when we're being introduced to new characters, it's like how you do it is everything because people have their versions that they want to see of these characters.
Yeah, a deeper dive into Century would have been nice.
Yeah, people have versions of these characters that you just can't mess up, and then you have other characters that are a little obscure, and people have a little less knowledge on them or a little less expectations on them. So, I mean, when it comes to the Thunderbolts, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't have super high expectations, and like you said, it was a great telling of what's to come if Marvel is going to continue on this path.
All right. So just to close with DC, are you not excited for any DC project coming out? You're not even excited for Batman Brave and the Bold?
If Batman 2 is going to be more like Penguin than
no, I'm talking about James Gunn's Batman.
I don't know. I love James Gunn, but I don't know what he's going to do.
Here's the thing, man. You could say what you want, like if you're excited or not, but it even doesn't even matter. If this movie flops,
oh yeah,
it's
Superman.
Over.
Superman.
You're not going to get to make Brave and the Bold. So it all we can't even worry about that right now. We need to make sure that this movie is as good as it can be. Yeah. This movie's got to be like a home run. It can't be like it's okay. No, man, you need.
It has to at least make profit.
Yes,
I guess you could say.
I don't know if it needs to make $1 billion, but it's got to make a lot more than any other DC movies made in a while.
Got to put up those numbers.
Yeah, it has to beat the Batman's numbers for sure. It's got to go higher than that for sure.
About that.
Good luck with that. Yeah, you gotta check the numbers for that.
Look at that.
Well, I'm talking about the Batman, Matt Reeves, the Batman.
It possibly can because. Well, no, wait, no, because I don't know.
I think that movie made like 700 million or something like that, didn't it?
Because we know a big portion of it is paid to the actors, right? Or a portion of it's paid to the actors. But the thing about James Gunn know how to make little unknown characters and make them like big. So, or even like actors, I guess you could say, or probably both. So I was advise you guys to watch Creature Commandos. That's a good show. And then yeah, with the Superman, I don't know because there's a lot in there. You got Green Lantern, you got Mr. Terrific, and then you got Hawk Girl, and there's probably other people that's gonna be in there. Almost like a small.
Oh. Oh, cool. That's already back at least. Did you add him?
No, I'm looking at how to add him, but I have to know his email, I guess.
Oh, once he's on the call, you can't just see him and add him.
I was trying to look and I didn't see it.
Oh, all right.
I could pin him, but I can't
Oh.
add him. It's weird.
Well, after this last subject, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
I got work in the morning.
Yes, sir.
So when this is done, do you want me to publish it? Or do you want me to leave it unlisted for now?
Publish it.
Okay.
Because we're not gonna be able to do it. We don't. Do we want to put it right out?
I mean, I don't know if you want to wait like a day and make a thumbnail for it or something, or if you could just put a thumbnail on it, and then you could do it too. I mean, you have control of the scout too.
Yeah,
so,
unlisted, yeah.
Yeah, it's already scheduled to be unlisted as soon as it's over. So
yeah,
and then you can just make it public with a thumbnail.
You still at Oh, never mind. I forgot we're still live.
Yeah.
I'm about to ask you something about your personal life.
Come on, Docs. He's coming back.
I sent it to him.
There he is. Hey,
all right.
All right, me and you have talked about this before, DZ, with all these different characters in the movie. But at the same time, I told you it could work if you just make it that they're already established in the universe, right? That they're just like another force on top of what's already going on. Like you can do that. They're just a little bit, you know. I mean, it can work. It just depends on how you tackle it. You know what I mean? But you can't do origin stories for all these people. There's no way.
Yeah.
If you do that, the movie's done. Like
I think speaking for DC and Marvel, every character coming out, unless it's a new character we haven't seen, there shouldn't be an arc for it.
Yeah.
Like how they did Batman, this recent Batman, there was no character, origin story. That's great. James Gunn said he's not gonna do an origin story for that. That's good. And they should keep it that way. We've seen it already, you know.
Yeah.
If they're going to do origin, do real quick. Do flashbacks. Do it 2 minutes tops. Maybe even less than that.
I don't need to see Martha Wayne die again.
Yeah. But in closing, anything else, guys? I think we got everything off the list. We just gotta wait for Fantastic Four. I'm having no expectations for it. Um, like I said, I'm not too thrilled about Reed Richards. I don't like the Thing's voice. Human Torch. I'm not. I guess I don't like the actor. His eyes look too dark. Like he's like possessed. Um,
I mean,
and
I'm going
hopefully,
into it with an open mind, as I always do. But
Right.
yeah, man, there's a lot of evidence in just the trailers that this movie may not be very good. But
Yeah, I
it
mean,
looks like
honestly, it kind of comes back to movies like Eternals that have considerable budget for these big actors, and it's like, where is all the money going? Is it going just to the actors? Is it going to the writing or the CGI? Like, where's the money going? So with this cast, I feel like Pedro's the highest paid, and
yeah, yeah.
they have pretty much up and comers for the rest of the cast, besides if they do like a cameo for Doctor Doom. Um, and where's the money going to go? Where else can the money go? They have, some CGI that we've seen from the trailers. Uh, Hopefully, it's not all pumped into the CGI because do need a good storyline. They have to make it relevant. I'm optimistic to at least this new phase of what this is the first movie in phase what, seven, six?
This I have it right here. It's either 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Um,
this is going to be the first movie.
6.
Six, yeah, because Thunderbolts was
Yeah,
the last movie in phase five. So
yeah.
they got to kick off this um, phase strong, in my opinion. And the secret ending in Thunderbolts, the real question is that going to be the end of Fantastic Four, or is that going to be the beginning of Fantastic Four leading into, their storyline, or is it going
it's
to be
going to be
like,
the ending of Fantastic Four for sure.
you think so?
Absolutely, because the Fantastic Four that you're going to see in this movie are from a different universe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the fact that you know that means that definitely it's after the movie, because whatever happens with them at the end, they're probably going to be going over to another universe. I would
Yeah,
assume.
Yeah.
for sure, because
Yeah.
their universe is hitting an incursion, or
Yeah.
Galactus is going to eat their planet or whatever, right? But what if they come to the universe, come to our universe, and
Power
get
universe.
powers, get powers, and then go back or something like that? Like, I don't know. I don't think that they would give away a an ending like that. I don't know. I feel like Marvel like does it strategically and doesn't like, you know, I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, I don't even think the post-credit scenes were even necessary.
Yeah.
To be honest, but I think they just wanted to try to at least what they were going for is just to try to amp you up for Fantastic Four.
Rekindle that feeling of
Yeah.
something on the horizon.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you? I know there's rumors that, or I guess speculations that, the way Fantastic Four is going to end is like one of the possible things to be, because we see that Galactus is in it, right?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
One of the possible reasons that Galactus destroys their Earth or their universe, or I guess their Earth, and
Mhm.
so they found a way to travel to a different universe to try to like save it, and that's how they end up in the main timeline.
Sure. That's I
Um,
think that's the easiest plot uh equation. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we're thinking of it in our outside looking in perspective, it's like that's the only thing that makes sense, because you're getting brought into the MCU. You're going to meet up with everybody else. How
yeah,
else leave that universe and come to ours, right? But there has to be some kind of twist to it. I feel like that, and maybe that's just like the optimistic side of me, that I hope that they do it interestingly enough, that it makes it different from the different approaches that they've done in the past. You know what I mean? They have done this same formula. They go to space, they get powers, they come back. They go to space, they get powers, they come back. Like it has to be something different. Like going to another multiverse is a great way to kind of tie that in. But then, we've also seen Reed Richards come into play using that portal that Kang created, that square, portal walkthrough, right? So who knows? You know what I mean? They got a lot of opportunity here to
You could also
do.
do it a different way too. You could do it like the Arrow way, right? Where you slowly see what happens throughout the movie. You go back and forth, or the Deadpool way, right? You start. He's already got the powers. He's doing.
Are you talking about Green
shit.
Arrow?
Yeah, Arrow, whatever. Like no,
I didn't know who you were talking about when you said Arrow.
Well, because in Arrow, like the WB series, they kept going back to the island, and you kept slowly seeing what was happening to him. It's the same thing with Deadpool, right? That's the easiest way, the shortest way. Started out already killing people, then you go back to what's going on, then you go back to the present, then you go back to the past. It's possible they could do it that way too. Since we've already seen it done the other way, right?
Yeah.
But who knows?
So let me ask you guys this: with Fantastic Four, obviously one of the things that really gets the excitement going and what everybody is really waiting for is Doctor Doom. Okay, so in you guys' theory, how do you think they're going to introduce Doctor Doom, or are they not even going to introduce Doctor Doom into this in this movie?
If they do, it'll be short.
I kind of agree with him. That's one way. It'll be short. I think
you got enough to play around with.
I don't think Marvel.
You don't need to introduce another. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Marvel should be would do a selfish thing like that because they got because they got Galactus. I think there's like maybe 3 villains already in Fantastic Four. They got one guy I don't know who of, and they got Silver Surfer, and then they got Galactus. I don't think they should add Doctor Doom in there.
So Silver Surfer is the Herald of Galactus.
Yeah.
A villain, just a messenger, right? Obviously, those two are one, right? They're right. Now, the third person, we may have an antagonist otherwise, but I think behind the scenes, ultimately, what they're going to do is, and this is just my opinion, is that they are going to find a way to tease us with Doom throughout the movie and then bring him in like in a post-credit scene.
Yeah, I think Dooms are going to be established because, I mean, Sue's pretty much pregnant in the movie. That means they've been together for a while doing what they've been doing. So
like I said,
pregnant with Franklin Richards.
Yeah, so teasing, I think tease would be good. I'll accept that. I've read that in the comics there's been a time where Iron Man turns to Doctor Doom or something like that, or there's a version of Iron Man that turns into Doctor Doom.
I mean, it could be What If or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, so
there's a version of it.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not far fetched considering the multiverse.
Oh wait, didn't you send me something about that? Like, how Doctor Doom has been in the MCU the whole time, or something like that.
Could have been, yeah.
So send me something like that. I never watched it because I was like, oh, he's trying to piss me off.
There's a theory that because Sokovia is next to Latveria, that when Sokovia got dropped, there was deposits for adamantium or
the Black Panther stuff.
Vibranium. There was vibranium underneath or something, and so when it crashed, Latveria was next to it, and Doctor Doom was the king of Latveria, and he comes over and basically raids all that, and essentially uses that as a way to become like a version of Iron Man. But who knows how they're going to do it, bro? Like honestly, I feel like their window of time is closing because they have to get to Doomsday, they have to get to Secret War, like they have to introduce Doom because he's going to be such an antagonist. Like, yeah, they can assume that everybody knows Doom already, like who Doctor Doom is in a Fantastic Four story, but like if he's going to be the big bad of this last phase and overall now the whole multiverse saga, it's like they got to get to them already. Like they have to bring them in. They have to
Mm-hmm.
introduce them. Like I feel like they have to bring attention to Doom and introduce him in Fantastic Four some way somehow.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's just going to be either a post-credit scene or they're going to be like in the same universe and show them younger, do like a CGI thing where they were like growing up together or something like that, and then had different paths in some way, villainize them like that, because that was always the other story. That was the story we've seen over and over. They were best friends, Doom and Reed Richards. They were like frenemies. They're competitive and all this BS. But they got to do something different. This time I think it's going to be a different take.
Mm.
Has to be. They have to do it right. This is like their chance to do it right.
Wouldn't it be so sad if they just get this wrong? Like they should just leave the Fantastic Four property alone. Like we can't get it right, guys. We just can't get it right.
Yeah. I'm like, how many characters are there?
Because they just can't help but get in their own way.
Yeah,
I mean, problem.
They're gonna bring back the all the characters that have played it. I think hopefully they bring all those guys back.
Well, they brought one back already.
No, but there's other problems here too, man. Like, again, I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, man, like you got Sue Storm talking for Reed Richards. It's true. You see it in the trailer, dude. The girl asks her something, she answers. Not her husband, not the smartest man in the world, his wife. You got Silver Surf her instead of Silver Surfer. More people want Silver Surfer than her. No, it's true, dude. And Marvel does.
You
this
want
shit,
to be that guy.
And Marvel does this shit all the time, dude. They fundamentally change Johnny Storm. Why are you doing all the things that the fans don't want you to do? Get out of your own fucking way and give the fans what they want. These are the people that actually spend the money on your shit. Not these other people that you're trying to appeal to. The people that actually care about these comics and go to these movies because of these characters.
Point, it's a business, right? And so they also have to like...
Yeah, and business means you actually do something that's actually going to make you some fucking money.
I mean, bringing in new demographics to your movies...
It's not helping. What do you know how many movies have been flopping, dude? Like, I can't even remember the last time a Marvel movie did good, except for Guardians and Deadpool. That's it. All the rest of them, flops.
Yeah.
Marvel, actually, Multiverse of Madness, I think.
Oh, and No Way Home. All did.
And of course, No Way Home. But No Way Home didn't do any stupid shit. It honored the character.
Yeah. I mean, it was a risk bringing everybody back, but I think what happens is like when you recycle, it's like, what would you rather do? Would you rather take a gamble and like bring out new characters or recycle the old ones and get some guaranteed money,
Exactly.
Like,
and that's what you should be doing.
Even with Guardians of the Galaxy, like when they first came out, like that was a gamble. Nobody really knew who they were, so it had to be.
I just don't know why they don't get why this shit isn't working. Just stop. It's been proven at this point, dude. People aren't going to see your stuff anymore, and it's because you keep doing this crap. Just stick to what the comics and you'll be good. Like, and that's why these stories get altered too, because they have to accommodate these other things. You know what I'm saying? I just want a good. You know what? To be honest, though, I haven't seen like a really, really good Fantastic Four movie yet. So I was hoping this would be it. Yeah. But after all the trailers, dude, I'm going to see it. I want to see it. I hope it's good. I'm gonna pay money to see it, but I don't think it's gonna be good.
You know what I read a long time ago about like why people change, like for example, the Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan. Mm-hmm. So I've read that when it comes to like a new director or a new writer, they don't want to make what's already been made before. They want their own version of it.
Well, you know what? They get their own. You know the reason why they get to do this is because those own versions. So just show respect to the old versions. To be honest, though, I had no problem with Michael B. Jordan being Johnny Storm. That didn't bother me at all.
No, that movie was horrible. You know, in that whole movie,
the movie's just a bad movie.
Yeah, Thing doesn't talk to Invisible Woman at all. Like they have no dialogue at all. And then the character, the race change, it didn't add to anything.
So let me ask you this:
but he's a good actor.
Let me finish my point though about the director and everything, right? So, what I was getting to is that imagine if you were to make a Batman movie, right? This is
Right.
why I like the Ben Affleck Batman.
Oh God.
Imagine they tell you, "Hey, go. I want you to make a Batman movie." Are you going to do something that's already been done already, or do you want to put your own twist to it? Because if you make something that's already been made, it's like, okay, what was the point of making another Batman movie? We've already seen this version of Batman already, or we've seen this Batman plenty of times. We've seen the shows, we've seen the cartoons. It's the same stuff. So this Ben Affleck Batman was something new. Even the Superman. I know I can't remember if it was you docs or Mr. Options that didn't like how Superman snapped Zod's neck. I was like, oh, I appreciate that. Like you see the struggle and
No, I
he's
don't
trying to
think
do
that
right and
bothered me.
wrong.
I thought that was.
There were some people
I
that
didn't
didn't
know
like
that. I
it
didn't
at
know it
all.
was gonna happen. I didn't see it coming, but I wasn't like upset
Yeah,
about
because
it.
they're like, yeah, his whole thing, his whole one rule is not to kill.
You're right, though.
I was
Yeah,
like, and I was like, well,
it did
yeah, he
bother a
wasn't
lot of
trying to
people.
kill, but it was like no choice.
Yeah.
So like, imagine like that's why I liked Zack Snyder's version of Superman. It's like it was something different. We have all these Christopher Reeves. We had that one guy that played Mr. Adam and Superman. Was it Superman Returns? That one movie that was I didn't like at all. But it's like imagine like trying to make a character that's been around for a long time and you don't want to make the same thing because it's been done already. So you do
Sure.
your own version of it.
Sure.
But go back. Black, what were you about to say?
No, I mean, yeah, you definitely got to make it different. I mean, no matter what it is, if it's your vision, there's always going to be these different versions of these characters that people love. I mean, every different Spider-Man had a different personality and a different feel to their comics, just like the Amazing Spider-Man, regular Spider-Man, all the different ones or whatever. And it's like I think that helps um distinctly uh create one version versus the other, because ultimately, like, we see all these different versions in the comics, right? So it's only right to see all the different versions on film, but people are always going to like the different versions. People are always going to like one version or the other, or have preferences on which one they like. You know what I mean? So it's like it makes sense to have all these different types, because in the comics there was all these different types. You know what I mean? But what I was going to also say was that out of all these Fantastic Four movies, uh, what didn't work in all these movies, in you guys' opinions? Besides, like, obviously, bad acting.
Dude, I barely even remember it anymore. I only remember as the Silver Surfer was cool.
I would say for the first two, I didn't see no problem with them.
Really?
I remember these came out in 2006 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man.
So at this time I'm like 18, 19, right?
Oh yeah, and I was like, Jessica Alba's hot.
Yeah. So I really didn't see, like, I wasn't too critical or judgmental of movies like how I am now. So if I probably watch it again like this day, I'll probably have something to say. But back then when I saw it,
I remember not
nothing...
disliking her though. I'm pretty sure she was a
yeah,
good
that's what I'm saying. Back then, I'm going off the time I saw it
very well.
I didn't see nothing wrong with it. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. Not to say there was something wrong with it. Okay. At that time of my life, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. I thought it was cool. I think I like the first one better than the second one, very slightly.
Wow.
And I think it was because Galactus. You didn't get to see Galactus. We all know who Galactus is,
yeah,
and it was just a cloud in space.
Yeah, Galactus looked like crap.
So I think that's what like pissed me off.
Sure.
About it. The other one with Michael B. Jordan, I was like, okay. When they did Nick Fury, because I know me introduced as Nick, getting introduced to Nick Fury, he was white, you know. And then when Samuel Jackson played him, I was like, okay, it didn't bother me as much. Maybe because I didn't know too much about Nick Fury, and maybe it didn't change his character, his origin. Like,
yeah, it didn't bother me either, because at that time I was reading the Ultimate Spider-Mans, which I love Ultimate Spider-Man, and Nick Fury was that Nick Fury from the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah. So I saw the there was a Nick Fury movie, and I think it was David Hasselhoff or something.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I think it starts off on their what's that big ship in the sky? I forget.
Terrible.
Yeah, the helicarrier.
Yeah. So it didn't bother me. But then when seeing this, it was like, what was the point of? And maybe it didn't help because it was a bad movie too. I didn't like how their costumes. They didn't have no. I guess besides Human Torch and Invisible. Oh yeah, Invisible Woman. That wig just was horrible.
I just remember not liking that movie.
The
at
part,
all.
and then another part was like, I think Miss Armstrong, you said they can't do this no more, but the stuff that they show in the trailer has to be in the movies.
Yeah.
There's that one part in the trailer where the thing drops from like a plane and lands on a tank. And it's like nowhere in the movie, and that was like the best part of the trailer.
Yeah.
So I didn't like how the thing looked. I didn't like how Mr. Fantastic uniform looked because he didn't even have a uniform.
They didn't even give Stan Lee a cameo.
Yeah, that's how bad he didn't like it. He disliked it. Was it a Doctor Doom was like infused with that material?
Yeah, he was.
So that movie was just horrible. I think that's by far the worst Marvel movie. I don't think Daredevil Ben Affleck was that bad.
So
all right.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to get you guys' take on the bad of those movies was to
it's just
kind
been
of
too long, dude. Like I would love to tell you, but it's just like I watched those movies like twice maybe in my entire life, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and you know, I'm right on the same page with you guys. I mean, besides the fact that you know the older movies, the bad for me was the lack of actual CGI. It did those things where it would like cut scenes, like instead of showing you what would happen, it would like show you the before, then show you the after or something weird. Like all the Mr. Fantastic scenes were super cheeseball because it was just like, oh, showed his face like, oh, I'm gonna reach, and then it just like showed him grabbing the person or something. It didn't show any good CGI, even with like Invisible Woman looked real like cheesy. I think the thing in those movies with Jessica Alba was all right. I guess the kind of look of it was like more realistic, like foam kind of thing. You know, it was kind of weird. The Rise of the Silver Surfer was pretty good, even though it was kind of a lack of a story, and I didn't like how they nerfed Galactus, but I really liked what they did with Silver Surfer.
Yeah, Silver Surfer. That's like the only thing I remember is like how cool Silver Surfer was. Sure. Yeah, wasn't it? What was it? Who's the voice? It was Lawrence Fishburne was the voice.
No, I don't think so. Let me look.
Who was the voice of Silver Surfer?
Yeah, but I honestly didn't really like Chris Evans as Johnny Storm. I don't think he did a good job, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. He did a good job as Captain America, but I'm glad that they didn't continue with him as Human Torch. The new one with Michael B. Jordan was trash. The Doctor Doom portrayal was trash, and the acting was trash. It was just a bad movie overall.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons why I wanted to point out what we thought went wrong with those movies was that if in fact they got those right in this
Lawrence Fishburne.
You're right. Yeah,
he was Silver Surfer.
Nice, very good. If in fact they do right in this movie what they did wrong in those old movies, they might have a chance.
Yeah.
Chance.
I think
they learn from their mistakes.
Mr. Austin, we said this a long time ago. Like when they first announced the Fantastic Four, we said they got to get this right.
They do, and the worst part is like Kevin Feige said like he really really wanted this to go well because it's Marvel's first family, you know. Yeah. But I feel like he's been stretched way too thin too. I mean, even he said it. He recently said in an interview apparently that he felt like just like reviewing all these things was more like homework than actually like enjoyment.
Oh yeah. I just read that today. I think.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, man. Like, where's your passion for these movies? Where did it go? Especially for this movie, you should be all over it. You said that this is like Marvel's first family. This is like the big one. You would think he would be all over that project. I think he's just stretched too thin.
I will say I do like how the theme of it, like it's what's it called? Like how their city looks.
Right. It's like future retro or something.
Yeah, future. I do like their take on that.
I like that. Yeah, I like
that. I agree. I would say that too. And I think that it's kind of funny that the sad part, because it's so like just like subjective, but like the best parts of the trailer to me were like the part where you see the Thing because he looks good, and the last part where you hear Fantastic Four. Like, I thought that sounded really good. Like, but the rest is just, I don't know.
If they can kind of capture that family essence, good acting, well executed action scenes, because some of the action scenes in the, like, a lot of the trailer was just kind of them like talking or like being in certain instances where it's just them moving or like being concerned about
all
something.
The CG did look good in the trailer so far. Galactus, even though it was just his feet,
yeah,
looked good. When you saw Reed Richards actually stretch, I thought he looked. I thought it looked great.
Good. The action scenes look like they're going to be great. The thing busting through those pillars and shit. That looked really.
That looked like an awesome hero moment. You know
what I'm saying? Like it has the opportunity to be good, and hopefully this isn't one of those movies where we see the majority of what's going to happen in the theater in the trailer, because some of the best movies, what I've realized is in these trailers, when you actually go see the movie, you realize that the trailer was really only like the first 5 minutes of the movie or something, and you really don't know what to expect like the rest of the movie.
I don't think that's going to be the case with these movies. I didn't think that was going to be the case with the Thunderbolts either, because to be honest, a lot of the actual stuff in the Thunderbolts trailers that where they wasn't feeling that much, just because like a lot of the jokes didn't hit for me, even in the trailers, even like the scene in the car, the whole scene in the car where they were talking, and he was like, "I'd really like not to die." It's just a dumb joke, and I just was like, whatever. But I still was actually excited for the movie after all that. I was like, yeah, but this could still be like a fun, team up of a bunch of misfits. You know what I'm saying? So like, I actually thought there was going to be a lot of good stuff in the movie still, and I think that there's plenty more to see in this Fantastic Four movie too. So absolutely. I'm not too concerned about that, but. I'd like to keep talking, guys, but I got to work in the morning, and it is past mid. It is 12:30 in the morning, and I got to get up early. So we got to end this. I'm sorry.
It's all good, guys. You heard it first from Mr. Awesome. We still have regular lives. We still have to do stuff. Doc's Black Power has to go do some music. Me, I have to go do nothing. So we will see you guys next time. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, tell me your thoughts on Thunderbolts and the future of MCU. Doc's Black, where can they find you at?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me at any place where you get your good music at, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. DXBLX on Instagram, Docs Black, and docsblack.com, docsblack.bandcamp.com as well. And appreciate you guys for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. I always enjoy talking to you. I've said to Ron many times, I think the best podcast we did so far, besides maybe the Andor one the one time, that was with you. Was one of our best ones. We had a great time, and again, it went way long, just like this one went way long. We could have nerded out for another 2 hours. I'm telling you. But I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah. All right.
But thank you for coming on, man.
Where can they find you at, Mr. Awesome?
Me, I have a Twitch, Mr. Awesome's _neighborhood, and then I just have my normal YouTube, which is Mr. Awesome's space neighborhood. Same thing. It's just MR instead of like the whole Mr. So that's me.
Cool. And me, Ron Deezy, everywhere. RONDEAZY. Got a new song out called Feeling Like. Get that everywhere. And we are Two Nerds a Better One with our special co-host, Dr. Black. And we will see you guys next time. Good night. See you guys later.
Later, guys.
Later, y'all.